What up, everybody? Welcome to Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic. Good morning, everybody listening out there on the radio, 97.5 FM, WPN FM, on the Fanatic app. A great way to listen. If you haven't downloaded the Fanatic app, please do. You can listen live. Everything that we do is on demand. There's a great video component that I believe is on the app right now, but it's it's a great app. So download that wherever you get your apps. And, of course, good morning to our YouTube viewers, our YouTube chatters. Again, I love, in the mornings when I wake up, first thing I do is I pop on the laptop at 6 o'clock, and I'm watching Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. So good morning to everybody watching on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed to 97.5 The Fanatic. Hit that little thumbs up button, like what you're doing, comment, get involved in a live chat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As we say good morning, in for Ray Dunn, who's on assignment in San Antonio, Texas with the Lady Owls. Patricia Caputo. Good morning, Trish.
Good morning, John.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Jason Martinez was scheduled to be with us this morning. Perhaps he's a late arrival.
Maybe some traffic. There was a lot this morning.
Was there?
Yeah. I mean, usually every time. I feel like when I do the morning show, there's always more traffic than when I get to leave at 9:30, 10 a.m.
Of course. And then going home, you probably have an easier way getting home?
Yeah, now, sometimes. I just feel like Philly traffic is Philly traffic. And like on Saturday, when it was negative 10 degrees, I was like, who is out here at 4 p.m.?
Man, everybody is. Everybody is for sure. The weather a little bit warmer this morning, so the deep freeze is in here. It's still not going to be warm enough to melt that snow. But we have a lot to talk about, and I wanted to start with A.J. Brown. Because yesterday was the kind of the reaction to A.J. on Micah Parsons' podcast, and A.J. said all the right things, and Philly's home, and he's excited for what's to come and all this stuff. And you kind of pick apart what he was saying, and it's like, all right, do we really believe that this is what he wants? And is he selling himself to the Eagles? Because what's been reported is the Eagles haven't had discussions with A.J. Brown or A.J. Brown's agent about staying or going or being traded. There have not been discussions. Sure, there's been, hey, we'll talk coming up in a couple of weeks. Let's get to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, you could make the case that A.J. doesn't want to go, and that, more or less that's what he's doing is he's just like, now he's being like, oh, well, I want to stay, so I'm going to go. I'm going to make sure I say all the right things. He's calmed down from the regular season. He's in a good place right now. I don't necessarily believe that was what we got from A.J. Brown on the Micah Parsons podcast. I don't believe that was necessarily authentic. He did a really good job of making people believe that he wants to come back. And honestly, if you're the Eagles and you are considered trading him, you should thank AJ because he didn't come out and he didn't blow it up. He didn't. No one watching that should think, oh, well, AJ's a problem. AJ, I don't know. I don't want to trade for that guy. AJ Brown, bad teammate, all about him. No. AJ is a very complicated situation. And I think with a guy that you could make the case that he's far more volatile and he's constantly saying negative things in the press or on even when he complains on social media, he's not directly complaining. He's doing it in this cryptic manner. We all know what he's doing, but still it's not something that you can say, hey, AJ, you said this, and he can't deny it, right? So it's a really, really weird situation. A.J. Brown is an amazing wide receiver. He's had a great run here in Philadelphia. And despite the season he had last year and a lot of people that may think that he's declining or he's lost a step, and maybe he has lost a little bit of a step and he is declining, that's never really the speed has never really defined him as a wide receiver. He's a big, explosive athlete. He's never just strictly outrunning guys because he has 4.3 speed. Oh, he'll burn you. Don't get me wrong. But A.J. Brown's at his best when he's just a physical freak. He's outmaneuvering. He's outworking guys. He's getting balls over the middle, and he's breaking tackles, and he's running away from guys. I don't think A.J. Brown's lost anything on the field at all. I don't. I believe that it is time for a change for both parties, not just for the Eagles, not just for A.J. Brown, for both parties. He's been unhappy for a while. This isn't last year before he was unhappy. He wins the Super Bowl. He still isn't necessarily happy. He was unhappy all last season. If we believe what we read, and I do, if we believe that he maybe requested a trade during the season last year, maybe not even on one, but more than one occasion. I mean, let's not fool around. Let's not BS. A.J. Brown didn't want to be here last year. A.J. Brown isn't happy in this Eagles offense. Could he be happier with a new offensive coordinator? Could he be happier if Jalen Hurts came out and just kind of evolved as a quarterback? He was much better at throwing the ball over the middle. All the things that we're looking for this offense and the quarterback, if that happens, could A.J. Brown be happy? Sure, he could be. But last year, his frustration affected his production and his production on the field. His behavior was a distraction, and it's not productive at all to anything. Right? It's one thing for the quarterback to say, okay, I got to make sure I get A.J. the ball. It's another thing for the offensive coordinator to be focused. We got to get A.J. the ball, which is what they did last year. And I want my best players involved. Don't get me wrong, but I also can't have what you're doing with a game plan in the offense based on worrying about what A.J. Brown, how he's going to react, if he's going to be unhappy, if he's going to be on Instagram, if he's going to be on LinkedIn, if he's going to be on TikTok, if he's going to be on YouTube, wherever his social media platform is. I can't be worried that it's going to be another week and he's going to be complaining. And as much as I think his teammates like him, and I've heard nobody, both on the record, off the record, or whatever, say anything bad about A.J. Brown, I think that it's impossible not to be a distraction and not to be kind of an eye roll, like, here we go again. And here's the other thing. His value is legit. I know I've heard some people say, like, I think Joe Santoliquito, when he called in and he was talking about how he requested a trade during the season, he said, I don't think you'd get any more than the third-round pick. I've heard some other people say you'd be lucky to get a second. I call total BS on that. A.J. Brown is still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And it's one of the reasons why you really question whether you want to get rid of him, because he is that good. But his value is still legit. And if you're the Patriots, if you're the Bills, if you're the Ravens, if you're the Chargers, if you're the Chiefs, and there's just 5 names off the top of my head. If you're any of those 5 teams, you have one of the best wide receivers in football. And I don't buy for a second that he's lost a step. And he would be reinvigorated if he went up to Buffalo to play with Josh Allen. If he went to New England to play with a young Drake May and he gets his old football coach back in Mike Vrabel. I mean, the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, they're trying to get Lamar Jackson over the top. If I'm running the Ravens and I look at Lamar Jackson, who's the MV3, and he hasn't gotten to a Super Bowl, my job is, what can I do to get him to a Super Bowl? Lamar Jackson has been far too long. I want to see Lamar Jackson get to a Super Bowl so we can end the conversation, because I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. You know what you do? You give him better weapons. And he's not going to have played with a better wide receiver than A.J. Brown. You put A.J. Brown on that team, they have a different look. The Chargers, Justin Herbert. You have Mike McDaniel that's going there to be new offensive coordinator. They wouldn't die for an A.J. Brown. The Chiefs, you have Pat Mahomes. And then who? Hollywood Brown, some other wide receiver that they're only there because they're there. Nobody really wants. Travis Kelce, if he comes back, this is probably his final season. Why wouldn't these teams be competing and bidding against each other? It's not taking 2 first-round draft picks to get them. Patriots are picking at the end of the first round. The Bills are picking towards the end of the first round. The Ravens are picking towards the end of the first round. The Chargers are picking towards the end of the first round. This is probably, if you're going to get something for A.J. Brown, that's a first-round draft pick plus, this is the time to do it. And this is very much a year where I'm not going to sit here and tell you, well, you're probably taking a step back, because I don't believe that. I don't believe there's step backs for teams like this in the NFL. You do have a new offensive line coach. You do have a new offensive coordinator. You're going to have a pretty much new everything on offense. So isn't this the year that you can say, you know what? Let's figure out what our offense looks like going forward. We have Devontae Smith. Let's get our new wide receiver of the future. Let's draft let's sign a slot receiver that can play. Let's figure out what we're going to do with Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert coming back to me is a big deal. So A.J. Brown not here. I'm a huge A.J. Brown fan. I am. And if the Eagles feel like that A.J. Brown, everything can be fine, and this stuff is going to happen in the future, and the offense can kind of reinvigorate him and can get him going for another year, but then what? What do you have the year after? Does that mean the year after that he's going to be completely happy? I just can't do it again. I can't do it again. And I don't believe that everything is going to be fine with AJ going forward. I'm not. I don't. 610-632-0975. We'll take some calls early on. 610-632-0975. It's time for a change for both parties. Both parties would benefit from a change of scenery. A.J. Brown was going through the motions last year. He wasn't angry out on the field when he wasn't getting the ball. He wasn't angry when the offense was predictable and stale and just downright was terrible. He wasn't mad. He was indifferent. He was going through the motions. How many times do we have to see him not finish a route and stop running and Jalen puts the ball up and he already has given up on the route? Right? I'm not telling you Jalen Hurts was a good quarterback last year. I'm not telling you that A.J. Brown should have been frustrated with it because you know what? Other players on offense were also frustrated with it. Devontae Smith, after he caught a touchdown pass, was screaming, just throw the bleeping ball. They were frustrated last year. A new offensive coordinator is going to help with that. But with A.J. Brown, the fact that you can get legitimate capital to help kind of not retool, but add for the future. Draft the next wide receiver. Draft your next wide receiver in the first round with this first-round pick. Sign somebody. You have additional money. A.J. Brown makes $30 million a year. You can allocate some of that towards Dallas Goedert. But if you're not going to throw the ball as much in this type of an offense, then why do you need two dynamic wide receivers? 610-632-0975. We will examine that early on. Get on the text line as well. It's Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic. 610-632-0975. We'll take some phone calls in the first segment. Let's go to Sean. Sean's calling from West Philadelphia. Sean, what's going on? Good morning.
Yo, what up, player? What's going on, man?
What up?
What is this narrative that you're pushing? Not you. I mean, I know you're doing your job and you're trying to play both sides of the fence or whatever. But AJ, want to go, bro? I'm not trying to see AJ Brown walk out the door for no amount of whatever. What you talking about? Like, it's like you don't have nothing to talk about. So let's push this narrative that you want to get rid of AJ Brown. Listen.
Well, so Sean, hang on. I'm going to let you talk. Hold on. No, you hold on. I'm going to let you talk. Okay, calm down. AJ Brown went on Micah Parsons' podcast on Friday. He did other podcasts. I don't know why it's not released yet. Guess what they asked him about? They asked him about the Eagles. They asked him about the situation last year. They asked about the new offense. So if you don't think that it's a real possibility that A.J. Brown's going to be traded this offseason, it's a real possibility A.J. Brown's going to be traded this offseason. Now, Sean, I'll let you.
All the right things he's supposed to say on there. It's social media. Don't nobody care about that. It's social media. He said everything he's supposed to say.
He did.
Now, if he said something negative, then that to be the story. He didn't say that. He said what he's supposed to say out in public. Okay, you said his teammates love him. Nobody's talking negative about him except who? The sports media.
Who's talking negative? But hold on. I'm not talking negative. I'm not talking. Listen. We got to have a conversation. I'm going to try again. I'm not trying to play both sides. And it's not both sides. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you my honest opinion. And at this point, based on what I saw last year and based on what I saw some of the year before, you're right, when they won the Super Bowl, does A.J. Brown even want to be here? Sean, do you think A.J. Brown wants to be here?
Yes. He doesn't say anything. I'll take a man for his word. If he say, okay, well, I'm tired of my time in Philly is done. Then I never heard him say nothing like that.
Okay.
I always hear him say the right thing. Okay, last year, it was the system. Everybody was frustrated. The year before that, okay, was Bookgate.
Quarterback.
Okay, maybe his joy was his joy is inner joy. You're not going to see over the top type of exciting whatever you want to see. That's just not the type of guy he is.
I agree.
That don't mean he don't want to be here. I mean, it's weird. We always trying to push our stars out of Philly. That's just weird to me, man. It's hard to listen. It's hard to listen to you guys. So Sean, that's the narrative, bro.
So Sean, listen. I'm not telling you this is a narrative of me. Well, and I appreciate the phone call. Thank you. All right, we can play the game of he's never said anything. We know that A.J. Brown was not happy last year. You can say it's because of the system. You can say it's because of the quarterback. I would say it's because of both. But I don't think there's any denying that he's frustrated with Jalen Hurts, the quarterback. I'm not telling you that he dislikes Jalen or he hates Jalen or anything like that. Jalen has said that their relationship is good, right? But it also doesn't mean that he's not frustrated and he's not looking to be playing somewhere else. How many cryptic tweets or Instagram posts or saying stuff during when he's streaming or whatever does he have to do before we realize this guy's just not happy? And it's pretty clear that he's not happy. I believe it was a distraction last year. Does anybody disagree with that? How could it not be a distraction where you're being asked about this at your locker for how many straight weeks? The owner has to come out on the practice field, and after Big Dom sets it up, and then they're having conversations, and they're talking, and he's giving them hugs, and he's saying, you don't have to apologize. Just stop posting on social media, which, by the way, AJ did. AJ is a good dude, man. He is. This is not one of these situations where this is a pain in the ass wide receiver, and I'm going to say, well, this is just the diva wide receiver position, and all he wants is the ball. And I believe AJ wants to win, and he wants to be a part of the reason why they're winning, and he feels marginalized in this offense. Could a new offense coming in, could that change things? Does that change AJ's thinking? Yeah, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe we're sitting in week 4 after Jalen has a bad game again next year, and it's the same thing. He's not talking to the media. He leaves, and then on Tuesday, he's on Twitter, and he's posting a Bible verse or something like that. Using me, but not using me. I don't know. And honestly, probably the biggest thing for me is he still has real value. If I'm looking at a second-round draft pick, and there's not a lot of teams that are interested in A.J. Brown, I don't know. Maybe then I'm rethinking it. Man, there are too many good teams with good draft picks that should want A.J. Brown right now. Let's go to Big Hirsch. Big Hirsch is calling from Philly. Big Hirsch, go ahead.
What's going on? How you doing?
What up?
I kind of have the same. I kind of feel the same way as the previous caller, because the one thing that we know for sure is that AJ's a top 5, if not a top 10 receiver in the league. We all agree with that. But the one thing we do know is that Jalen is not top 5, maybe not even top 15 at his position.
Yep.
And so with that, wouldn't we want to keep a guy around and make this a proven year for Jalen more than a proven product? And of course he's going to be upset. Like I think I listened to one time you were talking about playing basketball or something like that. Somebody. And do you know when you go up and down the court 5, 6 times? Now, court is much smaller than the NFL field. You go up the court 5, 6 times. You don't touch the ball. The guy looks you off. You're open, and you don't get it. The frustration just in that, in a 10-minute basketball or 30-minute basketball game compared to a guy doing 20-yard routes, 40-yard routes, cutbacks, this, that, and the other. I played point guard. My big man used to get mad at me because I wouldn't throw the oop. I wouldn't throw the alley-oop when he wanted it because he's like, Hirsch, I'm open. I was like, nah, he's all over you. He said, you won't allow me to be great because you're protecting you. Sometimes when you have great players, you got to put it in a position to allow and to be both of y'all to be proven great. And that's the one thing Jalen will not do. And that's, I mean, I can understand the frustration.
Me too.
And
me
unhappiness are two different things.
All right. So you don't think he was unhappy last year, A.J. Brown?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I do think he was unhappy.
And one thing you said, and I've mentioned it before, and it was in defense of AJ was, thanks, Big Hirsch, was if you've been running these same routes and he's not throwing it to you, if you're doing it 10 or 15 times a game, are you going full strength 100% on those same routes if you think the ball's not going to be thrown to you? No, probably not. But still, it looks bad. No one's gonna convince me that there wasn't a level of indifference from A.J. Brown last year. There just was. And I believe there's much more frustration towards the quarterback than towards anything else. And not on a personal level. I think Big Hirsch was fair about it. What makes Jalen a Super Bowl MVP and a successful quarterback in the NFL isn't what he does with his arm. It's what he does with his entire game. And he's going to, in this new offense, he's going to have to kind of reinvent himself because he's not going to be able to rely like he did earlier in his career on running the ball and the tush push. Look how many touchdowns they got 2 years ago based on the tush push. That's over. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. Zach Berman covers the Eagles for The Athletic. He was on the morning show, and he was talking about his thoughts. Does he think A.J. Brown's coming back? We'll play that for you. You'll take your phone calls. Mark Schlereth coming up. His comments on the Eagles' offensive line. Don't go anywhere. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Back to the East. I'm Patricia Caputo with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Sixers lost to the Trailblazers 135-118 Monday night. Joel Embiid did not play due to right knee management. The team does have off tonight and will head back home as they try to bounce back against the Knicks Wednesday in their last game before the All-Star break. Sean Mannion and the Eagles hired former Vikings coach Chris Cooper as offensive line coach. This comes after Jeff Stoutland stepped away from the team. Mark Schlereth joined the morning show to discuss the big shoes Chris Cooper has to fill.
It'll be interesting to see exactly what transpires in Philadelphia, but he's a good one. Now, I'm not going to say he's Jeff Stoutland because that dude within the circles of offensive line play in the league, that dude's a legend.
Cooper spent the last 4 years in Minnesota, but this offseason, the Vikings chose not to retain him, so he finds his new home in Philadelphia. Pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies tomorrow in the NHL. The Flyers continue their Olympic break. Flyers goalie Dan Vladar and Team Czechia will face off against Flyers coach Rick Tocchet and Team Canada Wednesday morning. This update is brought to you by TireRack.com. Rain or shine, drive with confidence on Verdestine tires from Tire Rack. Verdestine tires deliver precision, handling, dependable traction, and quiet comfort. Shipped fast and free with 2 years of free road hazard protection. TireRack.com. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
in, I don't know, maybe around 12 o'clock or so. So just the first half of the show with me, Patricia Caputo, and you. So it's a good time to do some phone calls at 610-632-0975 or the text line. Be curious to hear what the text line is saying about all of these things. We'll get to that coming up in a second. Zach Berman was on with the guys this morning, and he's talking about A.J. Brown, the player, both on and off the field, how important he is, how good he is. Here is Zach Berman.
You want good players on your team. And I'll say this, like A.J. Brown, I know he's kind of a lightning rod on talk radio. You know, behind the scenes, he's kind of what you want in that he's popular in the locker room, practices. He does a lot of things that you want a top player to do. Now, this year did not go as well as it needs to be. I can tell you from covering the Eagles for 14 years, you don't find players like that very often, that good, that talented, who are literally on a Hall of Fame trajectory when you look at the numbers, and you do everything you can to try to keep those players, not to try to move those players. My succinct answer to it is absolutely. You want a guy like that on your team.
Yep, and Howie has said that multiple times, and it just I hadn't heard that cut before. I just listened to it during the break, and and Zach's a lot closer to the team than I am. I have people, like within the organization that I'm friends with, and I don't ask for any specific information or scoops, but just like, hey, like what's the feel? And I always get the same answer on AJ. He's loved by everybody. He's loved by the front office. He's loved by the coaching staff. He has a great relationship with. He mentioned Kevin Patullo when he was on with Micah Parsons on that podcast. Like he is a well-liked player. His teammates love him. No one's ever said anything bad about him, and he is a really good player. With all that being said, does Zach Berman think that he's back with the Eagles this year?
If you said to me, what do you think's going to happen? If you're asking me today, I would lean toward AJ not being here, and I just think that there's a lot there, but there's also no substantive trade talks or anything of that nature, right? Those kind of pick up come combine time as well, and so I think that it would be a mistake if the Eagles were to trade him. I think AJ Brown's still a blue chip player. I understand the thought process that the value now is more than the value a year from now, but I think if you move on from him, you need an adequate replacement, and I don't know what direction they would go there. But there's a lot of toothpaste they'd have to put back in the tube to bring A.J. Brown back. I personally think they should try to figure out how to do that. But
see, everybody that knows the inside also says the same thing. Zach Berman's not saying that because Zach Berman's not saying that he would lean to where he's not coming back based on a whim or just something that he's just talking out of his butt. He obviously knows the internal dynamics that goes on with the Eagles right now. And at the end, he says that a lot of toothpaste would have to go back on the tube. Well, what is he talking about? Right? Obviously, it's well known that AJ unhappy with the Eagles offense, and it goes more than the system and Kevin Patullo. It does. AJ Brown, still an elite wide receiver. We had a caller earlier that said top 5, top 10. Probably more top 10 than top 5. I think it's fairly easy to see with JSN, Puka Nacua, Jamar Chase, St. Brown. He's right around St. Brown, probably not as good at this point. He's better than Jamison Williams. I would probably take him over CeeDee Lamb still. Justin Jefferson's coming off a bad season. He is still is a top 10 receiver, and top 10 receivers have a lot of value. And they should have a lot of value to the Eagles. But just, again, listen to what Zach's saying, which is, I think it'd be a mistake, but they'd have to try to put toothpaste back in the tube. What does that mean? It means there's a lot of stuff going on internally. Let's go to Carl. Carl in North Philly. Carl, what do you got? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Look, first of all, I'm going to start off by saying I'm a diehard Eagles fan. My dad, close friend, is William Frizzell. He plays safety for the Eagles. I used to be at practice playing with Jerome Brown dogs and all that. Like, bro, I'm tied in for life. But listen, real recognize real. Nobody's bigger than the program, bro.
Yep.
No fan, no player, nobody, bro. Mr. Lurie and Mr. Howie, they run the show, bro. They call the shots. They're drafting, and everything that they've been doing over the past decade is by far the best in the NFL. By far. You know what I'm saying? And we came up short a couple of times. But, however, I say that to say this. The fans not going to like what I got to say, but this is real. I'm a football coach, and I'm speaking from experience. Wide receiver is one of the positions out of all the 11 positions on offense that can be a mediocre guy for you to win the championship. What can't be mediocre is anything in the interior.
Yep.
Okay. The tight end, your slot receiver. We watch the best quarterback ever, Tom Brady, win with slot receivers. He never won with none of the big guys outside. He never won with Randy Moss and none of them. T.O. never got a Super Bowl, bro. None of that, bro.
Yeah.
We keep comparing AJ to Randy, T.O. Bro, he's not better than none of them, and they didn't even win, and he won. My point is the reason why he won, and he should be grateful for it, and he is grateful for it because of the way he presented himself in the podcast. He's not going to slander Jalen. Anybody that knows football can see, anybody that just watched the Super Bowl, okay, watch the quarterback and Drake May, okay, literally drop back, and as soon as the pocket collects, step up and run inside. That's all we needed Jalen to do to win, bro.
Yep.
What are we talking about? And I hate to say this, it'll bring any type of race into it, right, when we're talking about race, but I'm not a racist in any shape or form. My grandma is white. So I'm well-grounded when it comes to race. Real recognize real. The least thing we expected for our black quarterback to do is to step up in the pocket and use his legs when he needs to. One, because he's young and healthy. And two, this is the tradition of an African-American quarterback. We're Eagles fans. We've been spoiled by Randall, McNabb, and Vic, man.
But also
scrambling quarterbacks to play the game.
But
bro.
also, Carl, listen, man, listen. There's a lot to unpack with what you said right there. Thank you. A lot to unpack. So, it also a certain point in a quarterback's development where you have to rely less on running the football and you need to evolve into using your arms. And I think that's what Jalen, the whole story of, Jalen didn't want to run as much last year. And going into the season, he let it be known, I don't want to run as much. I don't want design runs. I think that's smart because as you evolve, you want to stay healthy. And Jalen, if you remember, had a problem staying healthy. And a lot of that was because he was running, not because he was reckless when he was running, because if you leave the pocket and you're running, you're going to take more hits. And there's only so much you can do to protect yourself. He's never been reckless. Remember Mike Vick wouldn't go down or he would stay in bounds and he would take big hits? Jalen's never done that, ever. Carson Wentz used to take big hits. He's out there playing hero ball. Jalen doesn't do that. He's smart with it. He has to evolve as a quarterback. As far as teams winning without great wide receivers, you still need talent, right? But Pat Mahomes, he won Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. He threw for a lot of yards without Tyreek Hill. He still had good weapons. He still had Travis Kelce. But, can the Eagles win a Super Bowl if they have a really good team and they didn't have A.J. Brown? Of course they can. If they had Devontae Smith and another wide receiver, if they had Devontae Smith, another wide receiver, and a really good tight end, and their defense, and they can run the ball, and their offensive line, the offensive line, in my opinion, it's far more important to reestablish your offensive line in the offseason than you do anything else. That's been the strength of this team. When they won Super Bowls, their offensive line's been the strength of their team, and the defensive line's been the strength of their team. That's what it was 2 years ago. That's what it was in 2017. So they have to do that. But, you can move on from A.J. Brown. I'm sorry. You can move on from A.J. Brown. He's a great player. He's had a great Eagles career. But you can move on from A.J. Brown. You can, and you can still win. But I'm not gonna pretend that you don't need to replace A.J. Brown. You do. This isn't. You brought up Randy Moss, Tom Brady. 2026 in the NFL isn't 2010, 2011, even 2015. You do need multiple wide receivers. Do you need it every year? I mean, look at the great teams we were talking about. All right, the Bills haven't made a Super Bowl. The Ravens haven't made a Super Bowl. What do those two teams have in common? Well, they don't have a great wide receiver right now. In my opinion, they don't have enough at the wide receiver position. So guess what they should be doing in the offseason? Pursuing a top wide receiver. They've tried. They've used first-round draft picks on them. They just haven't gotten the right wide receiver. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. Middays with Marks. Ray is in San Antonio on assignment. Jason Martinez will be here sometime in the next hour or so. Coming up next, Mark Schlereth. He was talking about the new offensive line coach and how big of a loss Jeff Stoutland is. That's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic. Weekdays with Marks. Jason Martinez along about a half hour or so, maybe a little bit before that. We have Jeff Mosher coming up later on the show, Trish. He's coming up at 1 o'clock. All right, because we missed him last week, and I want to know what he thinks about Jeff Stoutland leaving. And the Eagles now hiring a new offensive line coach. He came down yesterday. Chris Cooper, who was recently with the Vikings, was their offensive line coach for the last number of years. He was not retained, and the position became open, and they hired him. So Mark Schlereth, who knows something about being an offensive lineman, former NFL offensive lineman, elite offensive lineman, he joined the guys earlier today, and he's talking about the loss of Jeff Stoutland. Listen.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they used to do a camp here. A guy by the name of Lauren Landau did a pre-draft camp, and Chris Cooper was also at that camp. So I actually worked with Chris Cooper pre-draft before he got drafted by the Denver Broncos. He's a hell of a football player, great dude, really good coach. He's a good one. It'll be interesting to see exactly what transpires in Philadelphia, but he's a good one. Now, I'm not going to say he's Jeff Stoutland, because that dude, within the circles of offensive line play in the league, that dude's a legend, but Chris Cooper's a good one.
All right, so he likes Cooper, and he said Jeff Stoutland's a legend, and we all know that, right? Stoutland is his reputation is well known. I know a lot of the offensive linemen that are on ESPN and et cetera. They were, like the easy thing to do after Jeff Stoutland leaves is to blame the Eagles and say the Eagles are, the Eagles are dysfunctional. How do you leave Jeff Stoutland? You do whatever you can to keep Jeff Stoutland. Maybe Jeff Stoutland, I'm not going to say he's in the wrong, but maybe the Eagles aren't in the wrong. Maybe the Eagles said, hey, this is what we need to do going forward, and Stoutland was the one that said, I'm not interested in doing that. And then they part ways. Doesn't mean the Eagles are dysfunctional. I know there's been a lot of change this offseason. I didn't want Jeff Stoutland to leave. Jeff Stoutland's one of the best coaches they've ever had. They won 2 Super Bowls with Jeff Stoutland as their coach, right? Offensive line coach, run game coordinator. We all know this, but this isn't a lifetime contract that you signed, and people leave jobs all the time. People are fired and leave jobs all the time. He left the job. Period. He left the job. He could have stuck around and been the offensive line coach. The problem is, and I did not a deep dive, but I saw a post up on Twitter, and it was like a good 4-minute video, and I watched it, and it was talking about Stoutland. I'm going to give the guy a shout out here. To what it was, but the guy, he was going through the tape and explaining what's happened. So Jeff Stoutland runs a certain system. So thinking about it like this, right? Like Bill Walsh is the West Coast offense guy, and then he has his tree. So then he has everybody that comes off the tree. Holmgren comes off the tree, and then Holmgren has Gruden and Mariucci, and so Bill Walsh is the founding father of the West Coast offense. And then you had so many coaches that had the West Coast philosophy. And over the course of years, they deviate from a little bit, and there's different versions of the West Coast offense, but still it all went back to the West Coast offense, Bill Walsh, right? So, and for many, many years. Now, the West Coast offense isn't what's run as much. Like when John Gruden got his start and Andy Reid got his start, these were all West Coast disciples, and the NFL is much different 20-some years later to where there's not as many teams running the West Coast offense. But what they are running is they're running the Mike Shanahan offense, which is the Kyle Shanahan offense, which is the Sean McVay offense, which is currently what everybody wants to run in the NFL. You get the coordinators, you get the coaches, you get the Sean McVay tree. That's what Mannion is. Sean Mannion. He played for Sean McVay. He coached under O'Connell. He is going to be teaching, and his offense is going to be what Sean McVay runs with the Rams. But that all started with an offensive line coach named Alex Gibbs, who was the offensive line coach for the Broncos back in John Elway, Terrell Davis into the early 2000s. And he had this certain system that he ran, this zone running scheme. And this is what all of these offenses that we're talking about, the Shanahan offense, the Kyle Shanahan offense, the Sean McVay offense, they're running this style of offense. Guess what? Running this style of running. Guess what Jeff Stoutland doesn't do? He doesn't run the system. He doesn't run that system. And he runs. There was his old offensive line coach that used to coach with the Giants and used to coach here and used to coach there that Stoutland is a disciple of, and that's what he modeled his run style from. He was the run game coordinator. This is what he used, right? The modern NFL and a lot of these offenses, and it's the offense the Eagles are going to be are running a system that Alex Gibbs made popular all the way back. The Broncos had so much success running the ball even after this offensive line coach was gone because they were running the same system. They were just doing it with different coaches. Remember how the Eagles wanted to hire Vic Fangio, but Vic Fangio, they couldn't hire him because Jonathan Gannon didn't take the Cardinals job yet, and he said he was staying, so Vic Fangio went to the Dolphins. So they tried to hire a guy that ran the Vic Fangio system. It was Vic Fangio's defense, but they were trying to hire the disciple of it. Right? It didn't work out. Sean Desai didn't work out. So that's what they're doing with this Chris Cooper. The offensive line coach, this is what he runs. So Sean Mannion runs this offense. Chris Cooper is an offensive line coach that's going to be coaching like this. And whoever their run game coordinator is, the new tight ends coach, it's the same thing. The Eagles updated their offense. So as much as we want to say, oh, well, you're not going to be able to replace Jeff Stoutland, and Jeff Stoutland's a legend, Jeff Stoutland is a legend. His reputation and his success, we know what it is, and he deserves every drop of credit for it. But unless you're going to run an offense that he wants, then there's always going to be this problem. And that's the problem you've run into. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, one of the reasons why the Eagles have been one of the most successful franchises really this century is that they're very good at looking ahead and saying, okay, what is the league? What is the offense? We want to be innovative. With Andy Reid, with John Gruden, when they hired him as an offensive coordinator back in the mid-'90s, they wanted to run the West Coast offense. Jeff Lurie said, that's what's working in the NFL. I want to run a West Coast offense. And he went out and got Andy Reid, and they ran the West Coast offense. Then he got Chip Kelly because he wanted the innovative offense, which it really wasn't, but that's what he wanted, right? So now with this new hire of the offensive coordinator, they want to run this innovative offense. So this is what they're going to do. You need to hire the coaches and the personnel to run this kind of stuff. And Jeff Stoutland wasn't that. They wanted to keep him as offensive line coach. And he's a legend, I know that. But that's not what they're doing here. That's not the offense they're running. So it sucks, but this was always going to be an issue unless you were going to continue to run the same thing that Stoutland wanted to run. And he looked at it as a demotion. I can understand him looking at it that way. He decided to leave. The Eagles didn't fire him. They didn't fire him. So let's not act like that the Eagles are dysfunctional. I've seen way too much of that. It's the easy thing to say. It's the easy thing to throw out there. There's a lot of change right now with the Eagles. No doubt about it. And it's uncomfortable. I get it. There's a lot of change right now with the Eagles. So just hopefully we don't have to get used to it. But if Sean Mannion becomes this wizard and he's gone, now you're going to have to replace him. Change is something you're always going to have to get used to. But hopefully this Chris Cooper dude, because he was drafted by the Broncos during that period of time that they're running this offense. They ran the offense. They ran this style of offense. They ran this type of zone running. This is what he learned as a player. This is what he brought to coaching, and this is what he's bringing to Philadelphia. 610-632-0975, 610-632-0975. The Eagles are not a dysfunctional organization. They're still the same organization that we thought was an elite organization when the team was winning games and we thought they were going back to another Super Bowl. Now all of a sudden, because they finished with 11 wins, they win in the NFC East, and they have some turnover with the coaches, now the Eagles are dysfunctional all over again. They're not. They're not. The Eagles are still very much one of the top organizations, if not the top organization in all of football. All right, coming up, we'll take some more reaction on this. We'll check the text line. Also, some Phillies news here as spring training starts tomorrow. Rob Thompson claims the team right now in spring training is better than the team was a year ago. Do you agree with that? That's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Headed back to the East, I'm Patricia Caputo with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Sixers took a big loss to the Trailblazers, 135-118 Monday night. Joel Embiid did not play due to right knee management. The team is off tonight, but will head back home to take on the Knicks Wednesday in their last game before the All-Star break. Sean Mannion and the Eagles have hired Vikings coach Chris Cooper as their next offensive line coach. This comes after Jeff Stoutland stepped away from the team last week. Mark Schlereth joined the morning show to discuss if Chris Cooper can have the same impact that Jeff Stoutland has had on the team.
Stoutland has done a phenomenal job of is his ability to develop young guys, his ability to have a voice and say, hey, man, we need to continue to bolster our offensive line. I don't know how much of a voice Chris Cooper will have in that.
Cooper spent the last 4 years in Minnesota, but this offseason, the Vikings chose not to retain him, so he finds a new home in Philadelphia. In the MLB, pitchers and catchers report to the Phillies tomorrow. This update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
On a Tuesday, Jason Bertidas along in a little bit. Ray Dunn.
How about that?
He's in San Antonio, the Lady Owls. Who's in San Antonio? USTA, I guess? University of Texas at San Antonio? Patricia
yes.
Patricia Caputo is with me today. News at noon?
News at noon.
News at noon.
I'll try to do what Ray does.
Let me say, oh, listen. You know, sometimes Ray's doing it, and it's like, all right, that wasn't all that great. Let me take a look.
Oh. He's not here to defend himself.
the Ben Simmons commercial was really, really funny.
And Ray didn't cover it yesterday. Nobody did. So I was like, now's my time.
I just saw it last night, and I actually applauded him. That's coming up at noon.
Yes.
Ben Simmons actually showing that he has a little bit of a sense of humor.
Finally becoming more likable.
All right. I like the news at noon. That's coming up here. Just make sure that you're, if you're watching on YouTube or maybe you're not watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm telling you, the content we're putting out on YouTube, and as we continue to evolve, not only as a sports radio station, but as a digital sports network, you're going to see coverage of teams on YouTube that you're really going to like. I'm doing some Phillies stuff. We're going to be having a local Phillies coverage here with me and some other people at the station. So if you haven't checked out my off-air Phillies stuff, please do. It's great. So 97.5 The Fanatic, just make sure you're subscribing to us on YouTube and all of our social medias as well. Brandon back in the back. Brandon Dutz, our YouTube producer. He puts stuff on our Instagram page and our Twitter page. So make sure you're checking all of that stuff out. More on the Phillies coming up in a second because Rob Thompson, I'm telling you, Rob Thompson, elite with a capital E for his support and how he's selling his team this year. But I want to get Ethan in Quakertown, who's something on the 76ers here. Sixers lose last night, and I'm not going to be one of these people that are like, yeah, I stayed up late for the game. I did not stay up late for the game, but on one of my bathroom breaks in the middle of the night, I did check on the final score, and it was a little bit ugly. Now, they gave up 49 points in the third quarter. They were down 113-87 after 3, and they ended up losing. But it's the last game of a road trip. They were actually favored in the game, and I looked at it, and I'm like, well, damn, it was a 5-game road trip. I think they were 3-2 on the road trip. And normally in that last game, guys just want to get home, and it looked like it last night. No energy. So they lose, but all in all, it was a productive road trip. Let's go to Ethan in Quakertown who wants to talk about the Sixers. What's up, Ethan? Ethan, are you there? Hello. No, Ethan? Jeez. I was even trying to get him going on the Sixers. I took a little break from the Phillies to get him going because I did have to mention the Sixers. Maxey is also in the three-point contest in the All-Star game coming up, which is really cool. I can't tell you the last time I was really interested in the All-Star game or Embiid was in it, and it's cool, but the actual game itself, it's kind of like, all right, they've tried a couple different gimmicky type things. But Maxey being in the three-point game, three-point contest will have me interested coming up on Saturday night. All right, so the Phillies, a lot going on with the Phillies right now. Let me start here before we get into the meat. Nick Castellanos, do you have the Nick Castellanos cut from Dombrowski? You have that? All right. So Nick Castellanos is still a Philly, and maybe I'm paying too close attention to some fans on social media because a lot of the biggest way I probably get news for all the teams really at this point is through Instagram or Twitter. And a lot of them are these aggregate Philly sites that like Phillies Update that more or less just they give you every piece of news, every video and everything else that if you follow one of these accounts, you're getting it. And I've seen a lot of people angry that Nick Castellanos is still a Philly. Not angry at Nick Castellanos, angry at the Phillies because Nick Castellanos is still a Philly. So here's Dave Dombrowski yesterday talking about the whole Nick Castellanos situation.
Wondering where things stand in terms of finding kind of that change of scenery for Nick Castellanos that you've talked about throughout the winter.
Well, we continue to talk to clubs about that, and that's our focus prior to the start of spring training. So that's something that we'll continue to work on this week.
Is that something that you hope to have resolved this week?
Hopefully, yes.
Hey, Dave, just to clarify, if Nick is not traded or released by the time position players are scheduled to report, will he be in camp?
Well, at this point, we're doing everything we can to make a move by that time period.
Yeah, he's told you over and over and over again he's not coming to camp with the Phillies. They've let it be known that they're going to trade him. Every writer, anybody that covers the team is telling you he's not going to be in training camp. He's not going to be in Clearwater. And I'm seeing a lot of people like, oh, poor Nick, just let him go. Here's the deal. Nick Castellanos' agent has been in contact with every team that needs an outfielder. Nick's even done media saying he'll play first base or he'll be a DH and everything else. This isn't where the Phillies are holding Nick Castellanos hostage and no team is able to communicate with him. Of course his agent is trying to find a place for him to go. The Phillies are holding out hope that a team comes to spring training or is getting close to coming to spring training and says, you know what, we'll pick up $1 million of the salary. Or we'll give you this C- level prospect or whatever. It doesn't matter. He can do it. And by the time that spring training comes, if he's still on the team, he's not going to be reporting to Clearwater. But I think it's pretty clear that Nick Castellanos is not going to be with the Phillies in Clearwater. So everybody just relax. Dave Dombrowski's not incompetent because Nick Castellanos is still on the team. The Phillies aren't mean, and they're not being mean to Nick Castellanos. And, oh, my God, how can they do this to Nick? Oh, just come back, Nick Castellanos. He's not coming back. He's going to be playing somewhere else this year. and we'll wish him well. All right, so Rob Thompson has done a tremendous job of trying to control the narrative and really trying to steer the narrative away from the team is running it back. This is an awful time to be a Phillies fan. The team's not going to be good. And he really has been strong. And he obviously has to believe it to a certain degree. It's easy to say the team's not as good because losing Ranger Suarez and not having Zach Wheeler to start the season are the two big parts of your rotation. But the lineup's more or less the same, and your bullpen's better. So what's the net result? Are they as good as they were last year? No, probably not, but we're looking at the end of last year, not the beginning of last year. So last year in spring training, and this is what Rob Thompson's talking about, from where they were a year ago, Rob Thompson says the team is actually better now, in a better spot now than they were a year ago. Here's Rob Thompson.
We can't forget that we won 96 games last year, and we got a really good club, and we're going to turn over probably 20 to 25% of our roster, and that's not including having Duran for the entire year. But I like the improvements we've made to our bullpen. We got a new right fielder. We're going to inject hopefully some youth into our team with the Crawfords of the world and the Painters of the world, and Otto Kemp. Miller's not far away, and I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it this year than I was last year because I think we're better this year on this day this year than we were on the same day a year ago.
You know what? When he got on a little bit of a roll there, I started feeling it. I started feeling a little bit, Rob, because despite what the negative Nancy's saying in the morning with Kincade and Salciunas on 97.5 The Fanatic, I am excited for this Phillies season. I've gotten there. And what he said about the bullpen. Last year at this time, Duran was not in the fold. And they had signed Jordan Romano. And we were talking about, Romano did this and he did that, and he was brutal. So if you look at this, and you look at the bullpen right now, and I know Keller's going to pitch in the World Baseball Classic, and that's a little bit concerning. They have a deep bullpen. I'll say the lineup, I'll put the lineup equal to what it was last year. Your right fielder may be better, may not be better. Defensively, he's certainly better. And I don't know what I don't know what Crawford's going to give you. He's going to be better than Rojas, right? Or he couldn't be any worse than Rojas, I suppose. He's a better hitter. He's got a better idea of what he's doing at the plate. Rojas never hit 330 at AAA. And so I'm excited to see what Crawford does. Brandon Marsh is Brandon Marsh, and they're not as deep as I would like them to be in the outfield. Their rotation really worries me because without Wheeler in there, they're really, really light. Their rotation right now, to me, is the biggest question mark going into the season. And that's why I would disagree with what Thompson saying about, we're better off this year than we were last year. They could be. I don't think it's that far off, but losing Ranger and not having Wheeler is a major thing. I got to get to the trade deadline, and then if you need an outfield bat, last year Dave Dombrowski got you Bader, which was a huge move, and it really, really worked out. Some Phillies talk, 610-632-0975, 610-632-0975. When Thompson's selling that to you, that they're better right now than they were a year ago, I disagree. But it's not that far off. Better bullpen, much better bullpen. Starting rotation has some big-time question marks, without a doubt. Sanchez, Luzardo, I love. Painter, we'll see. We'll see what he does. Struggled in AAA last year. Taijuan Walker's Taijuan Walker. Honestly, the fact that three of their starters are pitching in the World Baseball Classic, that's not great. Keller's pitching in the World Baseball Classic, that's not great. Alvarado's pitching in the World Baseball Classic. That's not great. So I worry about one of those guys, something happening, but I can't will that into happening. I don't want to talk about it too much. All right? But still, all of these things, Zach Wheeler's not going to be ready for opening day. So as they look for pitching depth in free agency, and that's something else that Dombrowski talked about, hopefully they're able to grab somebody. I guess here's my point with the Phillies, that it is not doom and gloom. All right. A lot of people still have the hangover and not getting Bo Bichette and running it back, and you don't want to hear right now that it's not a run back. They're running it back with a lot of the same roster. And Rob Thompson's doing a good job of trying to spin that narrative away from that. There's still a lot to be excited for this team. There is. And I do not share in the doom and gloom. So Ethan's back, wants to talk 76ers. Ethan, how are you, buddy? What's going on?
Hey, how we doing, guys? Sorry about that.
You're all right. What's going on?
Just wanted to give you a ring. So, I think just overly very frustrated with the trade deadline, and I know everyone's kind of beat it to a dead horse at this point. But you sit there and you watch the game last night. When I saw the injury report come out, Barlow missing, Embiid missing, and Grimes missing. Kind of inkling in my mind goes, oh man, we're going to see Kyle Lowry play some basketball
and
tonight.
You did,
and it went just as you thought it would. It was not very good basketball, and I think the most frustrating part is that you sit there and I watched a little bit of the OKC game. Jared McCain got some solid minutes, about 14 minutes, had 8 or 7 or 9 points either or, and looked good off the ball there. And you look how deep that team is, and it makes no sense to me why Morey sat there and didn't make any sort of trade. We are one legitimate injury away from being a very bad basketball team, and it blows my mind that we're sitting there as Embiid is healthy, all the Paul George stuff, whatever, but it makes no sense to me on the position that we're at this point.
No, Jared McCain last night, 14 minutes, 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3 points. It was a plus 10 and had 7 points off the bench on a team that is 41-13. Now, if Oklahoma City can make room for him in the rotation, I think the Sixers could make some room for him in the rotation.
Plenty of room.
As Jason Martinez joins us.
It'd be kind of fun, the Sixers, all of a sudden.
So, I appreciate it, Ethan. There actually is a reasonable explanation why they traded him and they didn't bring in anybody else. Finances.
Yeah, money. Money.
What's up, Mert?
How you doing?
What's going on today, man?
I have no idea. I'm dizzy.
So,
I totally slept through 2 alarms, 3 phone calls. People go, how the hell you sleep that late? I'll explain later.
Right. Well, I have insight to it. Yeah, but I mean, you have a different clock than I do. I was asleep at 9:30 last night.
I was asleep at 11:15.
Really?
Yeah. Which is early for me.
Yeah, I know, because you're normally a...
Yeah, like Harry always says to me, how the hell you get up that late? I go, well, dude, I don't start my daily podcast usually until 11:30 or midnight.
Well, that's your clock. Your kids, I'm up at 5 to get ready for the show, and then I'm making lunches.
Yeah.
6:30 is my cutoff time to where, okay, now I have to make the lunches.
Yeah.
So 6:30 is when I start, and I make my lunch, I make my sandwiches or whatever. Yeah, so I'm
ready.
I mean, there's some days like tonight I will be up late because I have some freelance work to do, and I like to do a workout, and it's a different night. But on the nights where I'm tired, I kind of stagger it. So
what time do you go to bed?
I was asleep by 9:30 last night.
Wow, that's like 11-year-old stuff.
Well, it's no Sixers game. So I didn't have to worry about the Sixers.
Yeah.
During baseball season, I'm not asleep ever before 10 o'clock.
Yeah, because those games end at like 11.
Well, no, not anymore.
No, they do move them along, thank God.
But now it's like, okay, now I'm probably going to bed at 10 o'clock at the earliest. But on nights where the Sixers aren't playing or I don't have to really watch anything, I'm tired, man. I'm going to sleep. I was out.
So you crash out by 9:30. Like my wife does the early shift. She's up at I'd say the crack of dawn, but before. Like 4:30.
Yeah.
She gets up. She gets all her stuff done. She starts firing off emails for work, all that stuff. And she falls asleep at night at like 7:30 or 8. Like in the summertime, she's asleep a lot of times before the sun goes down.
So I fall asleep in my daughter's bed most nights for 5 or 10 minutes. I'll set an alarm on my watch just so I don't sleep any more than just 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so that's like 8:30. I'll be asleep for a couple minutes, and then I get up and I'm doing dishes downstairs and I'm watching whatever I'm watching or whatever, and then boom, that's it. And then I go upstairs after that, and I kind of get ready for bed.
And go right to bed. Like my wife will do that. She does all the early morning stuff. I'm on night shift.
Yep.
So at night, that's when I'll clean the kitchen. I'll do that stuff. Put all the food away. She cooks it. I put it away. And then we got 2 dogs now, and one of them's a puppy. That's like a freaking sprinkler system. This dog's got like a hole in a hose. Like he'll just start peeing in it while he's walking. I'm like, Jesus, God. He's like one of those hoses that goes.
So do you have to walk them or you have to put them out?
So I take them out. I do a late night takeout every night at like 12:30.
Walk or running around?
I take them out on leashes.
Okay.
So, and both of them go out. They go to the bathroom. I give them a treat, and I put them back in the room, and good to go. But I've always been the late night. Even when we had babies, she'd handle the mornings. Then she could sleep.
Well, you're just a later night person. You work afternoon drive, and
I've never I do not understand you people. I don't know what your biological makeup is that you like to get up early?
If I could, I'd go to bed at 8 o'clock every night.
Oh my God!
If I could, I can't. 9 o'clock at night, I love it because I'm up before my alarm clock. My alarm clock never goes off. I'm up before 5 o'clock.
Oh my God!
It'll be like 4:49, and I'll like open my eyes and I'll be like, "What time is it?"
And
4:51.
I'll wake up at 4:45 and I'll look at the clock and I'll go, "Oh, I got a lot more hours." The thought never enters my frontal lobe to go, "Oh, it's 5 a.m. I should get up."
I bet Trish is an early riser.
No, if I could sleep in, I would. But if I have to get up early, I'll get up early. I'm in this stage of my life. Like I'll do both if I have to. But I would prefer
you got
staying up
young
till 2
energy.
in the morning.
Yeah, you're young.
Yeah, you got young energy.
Yeah, but I'd prefer to stay up at 2 in the morning and at least wake up at 10 or 11.
So without
you.
The best work gets done at night.
Atta girl, Trish.
Without
Team Martinez.
job responsibilities or whatever that you have to get up, what time are you going to bed?
Probably 1 in the morning.
What are you doing till 1 in the morning?
Nighttime time is better than morning time.
You can
It's more
get
valuable.
more work done, especially in the summer. It's better because I want to be outside in the summer, and then you do all the other work that you can do at home at night.
Yeah.
So that, all right, the sun's gone down, now I can do stuff.
Do you have dogs?
No, thank God, no.
So right now, because my kids are now, we want a dog.
You're at the age, yeah.
And this particular right here is when I tell them, here's why we're not getting the dog. I see people walk by my house during the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like, hey, honey, that's why I'm not getting the dog.
In the snow and ice. and
Because
the
they
hell.
have nowhere to go to the bathroom.
I know.
And I'd be out there walking them. Saying,
They hate peeing on the snow.
Well, Daddy, no, you're not taking them out. I know I'm taking them out.
Yeah.
And I know they become my dogs, and you get to play with them.
Well, we've had the one dog. We have a white English cream golden retriever. She's great. She's like 4 years old now. Easy as pie, right?
Right.
And my wife decided she wanted to rescue a dog. And I was against it. It was when I was just coming out of treatment, and she saw one, and she just went and got it. And I was pissed for a day. She's like, this thing's not going to get that big, 40 pounds. It was 40 pounds at 8 weeks, right? It's a mix of like a Bernese Mountain Dog and something else.
Right.
It's got dew claws, like it's a climber.
Right.
So this dog, and I take them both out yesterday, and because of the snow banks and everything, they're going bananas. The other one just wants to chase the other one, pulled me down. I cut my hand. Thank God I was not in view shot of somebody's Ring doorbell. They yanked me to the ground. Look, I'm older now, but I'm not decrepit. These two dogs going bananas yanked me to the ground with the ice and all the crap going on.
Oh, I got to get that.
And the amount of bags that I go through picking up poop, it's insane.
Yeah, I don't miss any of that.
Yeah.
I miss the actual,
I love the dog.
Yeah, I love the dog, but even when you have the fence in the backyard, then you got to go clean up the poop out in the yard.
Or it's a minefield.
Yeah, or it's miserable.
And don't go out there without shoes on. You ever step on poop without shoes on? Not good.
No.
But I will tell you this year,
it's bad with shoes on too.
It's not as bad right now because the poop freezes.
Right.
So you're just picking up
good time
rocks.
of year. Yeah, it's a good time of year. Good time of year. Let's go to Mad Mike. Mad Mike, how are you? Good morning, buddy.
Hey, I have 2 dogs, and I've been walking them for the past couple weeks in this nonsense, so I do recommend it, though.
I like having the 2 Mad Mike because they do occupy each other.
Yeah, and they keep me. I work from home. They keep me company, so it's good to have.
Yeah.
So anyway, after this season, and we reflect back, can we all just agree that Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback? Like, he's just a fraud who was just given everything.
No.
And the same with the head coach.
You're like a Pro commercial. Lather, rinse, repeat.
Pro. No, and the head coach is just can we just admit he's a moron and that he's also benefited from just being given everything and he doesn't even do anything.
Are you ready? Here's what I'll admit. All right, that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni are both on the clock this year. Jalen Hurts could play his way out of Philadelphia this year. I'll give you that. That's what I see.
Yeah, but I also want all of it. I'll take that, but I want all of it. But the head coach is a moron, and you know why I know this? Because they just gave the offensive coordinator more power over this team than they ever gave the head coach.
Well, on offense, yep.
Mad Mike, I want you to do me a favor. Can you say something positive about the Eagles?
I'm positive they're not making the playoffs.
No. That's not positive. Can
No,
you
that's
say
positive.
something that you like about the Eagles that you think is a positive?
What about the secondary? Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell.
You're giving them the answer now. Stop. Give me
I like that the
Oh,
this
God,
is
it
all
hurts
coming
you.
down. Yeah, it does because this team's a smoke and mirrors fraud.
Dude, they won 2 Super Bowls since 2017.
This team did not win 2 Super Bowls. The Nick Foles era is different.
The organization did, dude. Like,
Yeah, but
what do you need? A championship every year?
Yes.
No, I love that chaos is back.
So you're comfortable in chaos.
He wants chaos.
love it.
Thank you, Mike.
You should get a third dog. You'll have a lot of chaos.
There's chaos right now, but it's not dysfunctional chaos. It's just sometimes the nature of sports is you're going to have a lot of change, and there is. We'll talk about that coming up on the other side.
There's expiration dates on everything, Johnny.
0975 610 632 0975. Do people actually believe that this organization is dysfunctional? And for everybody that very quickly jumps off the Eagles or jumps on the Eagles after just saying, oh, they're the best franchise in sports, they're the best franchise in the NFL. Oh, now they suck again and they're dysfunctional and Howie's a weasel.
At the snap of a finger.
Like that. 610-632-0975. That's coming up next, Middays with Marks.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Sixers are headed back to the East. I'm Patricia Caputo, and this update is brought to you by Pico. When it's cold outside, it takes more energy to stay warm inside. Pico offers tools and helps you manage your energy all season long. Get started at pico.com/winter. Sixers took a big loss to the Trailblazers, 135-118 Monday night. Joel Embiid did not play due to right knee management. The team is off tonight, but will head back home to take on the Knicks Wednesday night in their last game before the All-Star break. Sean Mannion and the Eagles hire former Vikings coach Chris Cooper as offensive line coach. This comes after Jeff Stoutland stepped away from the team last week. Zach Berman joined the morning show Monday to discuss the type of concepts and offense Sean Mannion may run with his crew next season.
Some of the concepts that you see there from Seattle, as far as the under center play action, the motion, those are concepts that the Eagles will use more with Sean Mannion. And
Cooper spent the last 4 seasons with Minnesota, but this offseason the Vikings chose not to retain him, so he finds his new home in Philadelphia. In the MLB, pitchers and catchers report to the Phillies tomorrow. This update is also brought to you by Morgenstern Medical. This February at Morgenstern Hair Restoration, you can book a hair transplant. You'll receive a full year of Norifol absolutely free. Call 610-831-HAIR or visit morgensternhair.com. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I played the saxophone as a little kid.
I could see that. Trish knows what I'm going to say
Yeah.
right now. I'm going to say, why is this in the freaking rotator and Ray's supposed to take it out?
What is it?
Because thank God it's Friday. This is supposed to be a song that's played specifically on Friday.
Fridays only.
But it's put in this rotator of music that just rotates it, whatever. And I probably said now 10 times, take it out of the freaking rotator. It shouldn't play on a Friday.
And just use it on a Friday.
And just use it on a Friday because now, for whatever reason, Jason, this never was when we did it. We would just play music as we...
I played everything off of YouTube for the most part.
Right, as we saw fit, as it felt for themes or something we're talking about. And that has not been something that's not something they do a whole lot here. I think Ray's done more of it recently because I yelled at him.
Have a nice variety.
Have a variety, but no, Trish is filling in, so I don't expect her to do that. She doesn't necessarily know my taste. But, yeah, so, every time Ray's like, okay, I'll take care of it, and then it'll pop up again, and it doesn't get taken care of.
Yeah.
And I didn't look to see what was up. I was
not
like,
on you.
Back.
You just knew something was there.
But every time I do this song comes on.
And I have the same reaction.
I heard it, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I have the same reaction.
Yeah, I always like the variety. I listen to radio stations or, NHL Network Radio, and they play the same exact songs at the same exact time every day for years. And I'm like, will you freshen it up?
Yep.
Geez.
Nope.
Enough. I don't need to hear Enter Sandman again.
Got to freshen it up.
Yeah.
Got to freshen up. All right.
Dig a little deep track for me.
So Stoutland leaves. What was your? I've been working with you in a couple of weeks. Stoutland leaves.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard me talking about this coming in, but they're it's a new offense. They're modernizing their offense. They're saying
which needed to be done.
It was well overdue, and they're saying, you know what? Hey, Jalen, you need to evolve. We need to help you evolve, and we're going to bring in coaching, and we're going to bring in a system that we want to run. But because before it was always, well, we're going to run this offense that caters to Jalen and his strengths, and whoever we bring in is going to call plays. It's not their offense.
Yeah.
They actually they're actually have an offense now that they're going to run.
They're bringing in a whole new kit and caboodle.
Yep.
Right? But as far as Stoutland goes, I get it. Nobody stays forever. But the thing I didn't like about it were the reports that came out that he was not consulted last year as the run game coordinator when they decided to change things.
Yeah, the quote from Tim McManus wasn't that he wasn't consulted. It was that he wasn't consultant to his liking. So
that's different.
So guess what? I'm sure when they let you go or people get let go, they didn't like the decision to be let go. It's really about the decision. It's not about how it was. Because, is it going to soften the blow if they say it to you nicer? Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But I can't blame. I don't know exactly what was said, but I can't blame the Eagles for all I know, Nick Sirianni went in and tried to explain it, and Jeff Stoutland didn't want to hear it. I don't know. He just didn't walk into work one day and they were like, hey, we're not running your run game anymore.
It evolved into that.
So, I don't know. Do they deserve some credit, some criticism for it? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels a little messy and a little noisy for them right now. They're always a little noisy because they're the Eagles. And
they live in noise.
I think they like that. I think they live in chaos. They love when there's a big name out there, they're involved.
Yep.
The easiest job in the world is to be a breaking news guy when a big free agent's available and say, one of the teams that's looking at player X is the Eagles. Yeah, no kidding. They're always looking at the best player.
Even if they don't have that info, then they just say, well, Howie Roseman's always looking to make a deal.
Like Micah Parsons, right?
Right. And that was
and they
real.
were.
And that was real.
Yeah.
And that was real.
So they're always in the mix. They're good for the NFL in that way. Plus, nobody on planet Earth is ambivalent about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
They either love them or they hate them. There's nobody that's got, what do you think about the Eagles? I don't know. The Eagles, they never really moved me. No, they move you.
Strong opinion.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
Which is great. Look, leagues need villains, and Eagles, a team needs to have fans in other markets, which bothers a lot of other markets, which helps the villain part too. Are they a mess right now, dysfunctional? No. Got to see what they do going forward. This is a really interesting time.
Yeah,
There's a lot of guys putting their cheese on the line right now.
Yep.
So we'll see where it goes.
So you heard what I was saying about with A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
And I actually think it is I'm not set in stone on this to where I'm saying no, absolutely positively he cannot come back. They have to move on from him. He's a toxic person or whatever. I'm not saying that because he's still a really, really good player. And if you're going to run this new offense, you want weapons. And if you don't replace A.J. Brown or you fail to replace him, it's easy to say go out and get another wide receiver, go draft another wide receiver, and then you have Jalen Reagor running around for you again. Yeah. That doesn't work. It just feels like, for me, it's the perfect time for change.
With all the change that's already happening.
There's a lot of change that's already happening, and I don't think he wants to be here.
Here's the counter to that. Isn't it also the perfect time to have two really good wide receivers to usher in a brand new offense?
Someone said this earlier, and I thought it was interesting. Don't you want to keep A.J. Brown for if they do move on from Jalen Hurts?
Absolutely.
I don't know who your quarterback would be, but if Jalen Hurts comes out next year and struggles with this offense, do you think the Eagles are saying oh, no, he won the Super Bowl MVP a couple years ago. He's our quarterback going forward?
I don't think it's just next year and then they make that determination. I think it's more than that. Because of the contract, even though they are willing to eat.
No guaranteed money after next year.
Yeah, I don't think they move on from them that quick. I don't know who they could get that would be better. Are you going to trade for Joe Burrow? Is he going to all of a sudden be available? Making those kind of franchise quarterback deals tend not to happen a whole heck of a lot unless a guy's washed, like Aaron Rodgers, right? That's just bopping all over the league trying to hang on.
Well, they drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round.
They did.
Yeah, are they going to draft another quarterback early in this draft?
They have a lot of things. A lot of needs all of a sudden. What if Lane Johnson decides to retire?
They need offensive line bad.
Really bad.
Bad.
And you got a new coach there, and everything starts there. You need a tight end.
You need a tight end. You need defensive ends.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith did not look good last year.
No.
You can't keep bringing Brandon back every year.
No. That's got to end now. And we love BG.
Thank you, 97.5.
You're damn welcome because you've been an absolute stud for the city forever.
He can come back this year.
Yeah, in a limited role.
If he wants to. Yeah, limited role. You can't rely on him to be.
I don't think he comes back this year. And if he does, it's midseason again, so he misses training camp and all that crap.
Could be.
And he showed that he can do that and be effective because he was effective. But as far as, not needing all those, I disagree with you because, I go back, and I know the NFL's different now and it's evolving, but all those Andy Reid years, what do we complain about? Pinkston and Thrash. They were good in the regular season. They could get to, a conference championship game. But they couldn't get over the hump until they got that receiver in T.O.
The wide receivers weren't good enough. We knew it. Andy Reid said they were fine until they weren't, and then they finally went out and got T.O.
And it was blatantly apparent. And the only reason they got T.O. is because Andy Reid was coaching the Pro Bowl, and he had T.O. And everybody lobbied for it.
Got lucky.
Got it done.
They got lucky.
But they had a good tight end back then.
Do you remember how he became a free agent, T.O.?
Yeah, because his deal.
His agent
Drew Rosenhaus.
didn't. I don't think it was Drew Rosenhaus at the time. His agent didn't fax
Smith.
Didn't fax to the 49ers saying that he wanted to be a.
There's a window that
there's a window, to be a free agent. To be a free agent, so the 49ers actually had to trade him.
Yeah,
but and that's how they. He was going to be a free agent, and then he didn't say, "Okay, we're electing free agency,"
which is hence the contract that he wanted to get redone when he got here because he was still under that old contract.
Correct. The Thrash and Pinkston thing is interesting. I don't look at this being those Eagles. Even though for a while they struggled to get a wide receiver, and then they drafted Devontae and they got AJ pretty much around the same time. So they all of a sudden they had two bona fide wide receivers. They got lucky with AJ. With Devontae. It took skill to move around in the draft and still get him.
Yeah.
But the player fell in his lap.
Yeah.
I mean, and Micah Parsons went after him, but you had Kyle Pitts going before, you had Jamar Chase going before, but you were lucky to get Devontae, but he fell to you to where you were able to move up. Because remember, the Giants were going to take him, and then they were able to trade up and get him.
And jump him. And you wanted Devontae to be able to stretch the field with a guy like A.J. Brown to open up the middle.
What can you get for A.J. right now? You got to get it. You got to be able to get at least a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, I don't know that you are because if teams know that you're trying to move them, actively trying to move them, unless you can pit 2, 3, 4 teams against each other,
I think there's going to be too much interest. I think you can get the first.
You think you can? So
Patriots, Bills, Ravens, Chargers, Chiefs, all are playoff teams. Yeah, I don't think the Steelers because they have DK Metcalf and but they have
Cowboys.
I'm not trading them in conference.
Okay.
Patriots, Bills, Ravens, Chargers, Chiefs. All teams that are playoff teams that could really use a wide receiver. The Patriots should be desperate. The Bills should be even more desperate. The Ravens should be even more desperate. You have 3 teams. The Patriots don't want to take a step back. He's got a history with Vrabel. The Bills, I mean, you have a new coach coming in. You're going to go back out with the same weapons as you had last year?
No, he's got to have change. He's got to upgrade.
The Ravens. How many years you want Lamar Jackson to win an MVP and lose in the playoffs?
Well, you look at all those teams, too, and you wonder, are they built to manage A.J. Brown off the field? I look at a guy like Andy Reid.
Yes.
And I go, you got that quarterback.
And you have Pat Mahomes.
And you got Pat Mahomes.
And
like, would he be excited to be there?
They've won Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill, but they need
Travis Kelce.
But they also need to upgrade because Kelsey's not the same player.
And I think they're looking for a very fast recoil. So they may be an aggressive team. Their draft pick's pretty high, though. They did not have a good year.
You're probably not getting the first-round pick of them.
No.
I don't know. I'll be curious to see how it works out. All right, coming up, A.J. Brown. John Kincade thinks A.J. Brown was the big cause for the team's problems last year. We'll discuss that coming up next. Do we believe that?
He's on my pie chart, but not a big piece of the pie.
All right. Middays with Marks, 97.5, The Fanatic. Hey, listen, let's talk about my dentist, Dr. Eric Pastor. Now, check this out. If you're a snorer, I want to bury the lead here because Dr. Pastor's my dentist, but if you're a snorer, all right, longtime snorer, and I didn't really realize that it was bad for my health, but if you have sleep apnea and you're a snorer, trust me, it's no joke. It can lead to so many different health conditions, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes, and your sleep is terrible. All right, so check this out. My dentist, Dr. Eric Pastor, the Royersford dentist, offers a modern, comfortable sleep apnea device that helps keep your airway open so you can finally get the rest that your body needs, and it eliminates the snoring. It eliminates the sleep apnea. So check it out. I went to a doctor, yep, you have sleep apnea. Here's the CPAP machine. I was using this CPAP machine, and it was horrible. I was ripping the damn mask off every night, but then just through a routine appointment with Dr. Pastor, he said, well, have you considered a sleep apnea device? And I said, you know what? That seems so much better than what I'm doing right now. And it was a life changer. It really was. Every night I go to sleep, I put in the sleep apnea device, and bam, I don't snore. I get up in the morning, I take it out. And if I would have known it was this simple, years and years ago, I would have taken care of it. And by the way, the treatment is covered by most insurance plans, including Medicare. This is not dental insurance. This is an actual medical condition. And depending on your insurance, most insurance plans will cover this treatment for you, again, including Medicare. So if you're fed up with CPAP or you just are tired of snoring and you're tired of your wife kicking you in the middle of the night, drpastor.com, drpaster.com, or you can call. You can speak to his sleep team right now. 610-67-SLEEP, 610-67-SLEEP, or drpastor.com.
The Sixers.
Marks and Jason Martinez, Patricia Caputo will be along with the news at noon coming up here in just 1 second, right at 12 o'clock. And just remember that if you don't ever get to catch the show live, you can go back and watch it on YouTube whenever you want to. It's on demand. But also wherever you find your podcasts, just search Middays with Marks, and you can listen to it on demand whenever you want to. I like to listen to a lot of my audio when I'm doing dishes at night. So we break it down nice hour by hour. So hour 1, and we tell you what we do within that hour so you can fish around right through hour 4. So just make sure you give us a nice 5-star review.
Rating and review?
Yeah, rate and review. And we love when you comment on episodes on YouTube as well.
Oh, I got to get on the YouTube feed and say hello to everybody.
I have not said good morning to everybody out there. But
you didn't go Stan Hockman? Morning.
I did not go Stan Hockman. John Kincade this morning.
Never heard of him.
Talking about the A.J. Brown stuff. Take a listen.
I wonder is whether bringing back, even trying to salvage the relationship with A.J. Brown makes any sense. Because the guy wasn't happy winning a Super Bowl playing in an offense like that. So now they're bringing in Sean Mannion, though, who appears to not be a guy who wants to do that kind of offense. So maybe they're capitulating to that. Maybe part of the Sean Mannion hire is to keep A.J. Brown here.
Could be. And look, he's talented, so I want him here.
I want a guy who's all in. I want a player who's all in.
Yep,
and I wonder if he's not all in. He wasn't all in.
He might be this year with Sean Mannion.
Isn't that great? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? So this year he's going to be all in?
Yeah, and I'll take it.
I don't want somebody to say, now
baby come back.
On his terms, he's all in.
Baby come back.
So he literally pissed away a season for you by not being all in.
I think there was a lot of
who else did
peeing that.
Who
happened.
else did?
The offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
No. The offensive coordinator was incompetent. What player on the team can you even insinuate?
No, I wouldn't say anybody actually peed away, but I think there was a lot lot of issues with the football team. Health was one of them.
So, John, you can stop it.
Giving anybody grief.
Yeah, he goes on to say that
not all him.
So he made Nick Sirianni's job difficult. He made the organization's job difficult based on the social media activity and whatever.
Wow. You want me to call a ambulance?
Yeah.
That happens.
It does.
With high-maintenance players. Sometimes really good players can be some maintenance. Part of the game. What else does Nick Sirianni do?
So to your point, the NFL, anytime you hear anybody say, there's problems with contracts and he wants more money, that is the nature of the NFL. Without guaranteed contracts, guess what? You're always going to have problems with contracts.
Absolutely.
Guys get cut. Guys outperform their contract. They want more money. They're going to hold out. They're going to do it. Like, that's the part, like you had said. That's what general managers have to deal with. That's what coaches have to deal with. Also, players know it. Like, this is a part of, there's no player that's going to be like, oh man, well, F him because he's mad about his contract. Everybody understands it.
It's part of the deal.
But what John said, the main thing that John said, I actually agree with, which is not like, I don't know if I would have used the all-in thing, but clearly he was going through the motions a lot of this season. He was indifferent. He was indifferent on the field.
Look at the playoff game.
He was horrible in the playoff game. No, I mean, that's also the thing.
Yeah.
This just isn't the tweets and the Instagrams and the whatever. It affected him on the field.
Yeah, he pouted.
And does it affect the chemistry with the quarterback? I'll tell you this.
Doesn't help.
It certainly doesn't help. And it doesn't help with the offensive coordinator and what they're trying to do every week. And they should involve A.J. Brown in the offense more because he's an excellent player. But you can't be solely focused, or you can't be so focused on making AJ happy that it's disrupting what else you're trying to do.
Hey, look, it's a team. Football is a sum of the parts. That's football by nature. You have to have everybody bought in on the same page to the same degree and accountable not only to yourself, but mostly accountable to the guys that are in that room next to you. They're the ones that matter most. You want to know who players try to please? The guys they play with. That's number one. They're not trying to please the fans, not trying to please the coach, not GM. They're trying to please the guys they play with. That's where the ultimate respect comes from.
Oh, you're right. All right, so if we're looking at biggest issues from the Eagles season last year, and again, I think it's important to remind people, they did win the NFC East and they won 11 games.
Yeah.
You're not going to win the Super Bowl every year. As much as we want them to, and we're going to be mad if they don't, they're not going to win every year.
Nope.
All right? What was the biggest issue with the team this year?
To me, it was play design.
It was the offense.
Execution on the offense. They just didn't seem to have answers, adjustments. It looked pedestrian. Some of the fixes looked painfully obvious, like not even targeting A.J. Brown until there was 4 minutes in the fourth quarter on a couple of occasions. Running the ball out of shotgun right up the middle. Just not being creative. I think that was the number one thing. And while John Kincade said, Kevin Patullo was incompetent, yes, and he was probably put into a position he was not equipped to handle.
Yep.
Nobody had any answers to help him either. The head coach didn't have any answers.
Well, he didn't even want to help him, it seemed like. Now, I know he did. I know he did.
But he just didn't have the facilities to do so.
I know he did because the stories are coming out now that they're trying to fix the run game. Yeah. And they were trying to fix the run game against what Stoutland wanted to do because it wasn't working. So I would say the offense was clearly the problem. Injuries on the offensive line were real. And
they played a lot of football last year, John.
They sure did. And if you look at it, Juergens wasn't the same player. Landon Dickerson wasn't the same player. Mailata wasn't the same player. They didn't have Becton, so you had Steen. And Lane Johnson couldn't make it through games.
He was in and out, and then he was out.
Right.
And we know the record when he's not in.
You know what we didn't mention? A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
We didn't mention. So we just talked about the problems with the offense for 3 minutes. We didn't mention A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
So A.J. Brown was not the main culprit of the offense.
Well, how could he be, John? Like, you look at a receiver that has a good day. He has, 7 catches on 10 targets or 8 catches on 11 targets. Like, how could that be the main problem when he's involved in 11 plays and they run 40 plays? Now, you need him, and you need a receiver to open things up.
But I need him to be like John's right. He needs to be totally bought in, and just not to start training camp
now.
Like through the season.
Yeah,
he was indifferent last year.
Yeah,
he wasn't like when T.O. was mad. T.O. was mad.
Yeah,
when wide receivers are mad during games. You've seen Justin Jefferson this past season. He's mad as hell. AJ sits on the bench and he just has that look.
Disinterested.
Exactly right. I would rather have him mad than disinterested. I'd rather have him yelling at Jalen than, you know what am I going to do? This offense sucks. This is much bigger than Kevin Patullo in the offense. It just is. This is where
his presence, you mean?
The wide receiver wondering or thinking, this quarterback's not good enough. What am I doing? I'm a 1,500-yard receiver.
Do we know that, though, that he thinks that?
I mean, is it a factor in opinion? I think it's...
He hasn't said it, or does he think more like this offensive coordinator's a boob who doesn't target me until the fourth quarter?
I think it's a combination of he didn't like the offense at all, and this when Devontae Smith got a touchdown, and he went over to the bench, and he said, just throw the bleeping ball. Throw the effing ball. Throw the effing ball up. And was angry after the touchdown. When A.J. Brown earlier in the year got a touchdown, it was cursing in the end zone, and he was angry.
Yeah.
I don't think that was directed at Kevin Patullo.
No. Okay, so that's the quarterback for not going to him and not seeing the read, not trusting that he can go up and get it.
These guys want to be throwing the football. They want to make plays.
Yep.
And if they're watching around the NFL and they're seeing guys that are getting like this offense was the Jalen Hurts offense.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to evolve.
There was a game where I thought he looked, I can't remember which one it was. He looked disinterested, and then there was a play down the left sideline, and he was blocking like a mad dog. And I was like, that was
He's interested in that one, yeah.
Yeah, he was interested in that one, and that's an unselfish play from a receiver.
All right, coming up, News at Noon, Patricia Caputo. Very interesting selection of the stories at News at Noon.
I love when she does it. Because it's a different way of looking at it than Ray.
Ray has a much different way of looking at it.
Ray's kind of chalk sometimes.
News at Noon, including Ben Simmons' new commercial, clapping back on Kendall Jenner. Kenny Walker and Stephen A. Smith admits he was wrong.
What are you, Mikey Mess? Mike could never get that word out of his mouth unless he was talking about someone else.
That's coming up next. Middays and Marks.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Back to the East. I'm Patricia Caputo with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Sixers took a big loss to the Trailblazers, 135-118 Monday night. Joel Embiid did not play due to right knee management. The team has off tonight, but will head back home to take on the Knicks Wednesday with their last game before the All-Star break. Sean Mannion and the Eagles hired former Vikings coach Chris Cooper as offensive line coach. This comes after Jeff Stoutland stepped away from the team last week. Mark Shurlith joined the morning show to discuss the big shoes Chris Cooper has to fill.
It'll be interesting to see exactly what transpires in Philadelphia, but he's a good one. Now, I'm not going to say he's Jeff Stoutland because that dude within the circles of offensive line play and the league, that dude's a legend.
Cooper spent the last 4 years in Minnesota, but But this offseason, the Vikings chose not to retain him, so he finds his new home in Philadelphia. In the MLB, pitchers and catchers report to the Phillies tomorrow. In the NHL, Flyers continue their Olympic break. Flyers goalie Dan Vladar and Team Czechia will face off against Flyers coach Rick Tocchet and Team Canada Wednesday morning. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Score unbeatable deals and get matched with the perfect bed. They make sleep easy. I'm Patricia Caputo on your home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It is Middays with Marks. Jason Bertinas.
Did you see we had a couple losses in the music industry the last couple of days?
No.
Singer of Three Doors Down passed away.
Really?
Yeah, from endocrine cancer at 47.
Oh, my God.
And then we saw that somebody else just passed away, too. I can't remember. I was trying to think of it. Somebody else just passed away, too.
I did not see that.
Yeah, a couple of losses in the music industry.
What's the? I don't even. What's Three Doors Down? What's their
Kryptonite?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Not it's 3 a.m. It must be lonely. There's another Three Doors Down song.
3 a.m. It must be lonely. Isn't that Matchbox 20?
Yeah, Matchbox 20. I get all those.
Here Without You too.
Here Without You.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Huh. And there's another hit though that wasn't Kryptonite.
No, they had a bunch.
Yeah,
they had a bunch.
Hold on a second. I'm
nice little run.
Three Doors Down hits. Let me see. Right here. Kryptonite. Here Without You. There you go. All right. Maybe that's the one. All right. Well, that's a shame. You're a Kryptonite fan? You like that song, Jay?
No, I was not a big. Well, we lost Bob Weir, of course, and Harry's still in mourning.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Sean Brace was very upset. He's a big deadhead. Yep.
Marianne Faithfull, who was featured on a Metallica song.
Okay.
La, la, la. That one. I forget what it's called.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. 12 o'clock hour of the program brought to you by. What is it brought to you by? Oh, Service First HVAC. offering 0% financing for 48 months. Rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. You can learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. It's time for the news at noon.
This city needs its news.
Now, it's time for
I'd like to be remembered as a good newsman.
the news at noon
That's the coolest story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane.
with Ray Dunn.
All right, Patricia Caputo here, filling in for Ray as he's in San Antonio with some Temple women's hoops. Let's get started talking about Ben Simmons making, I guess you could say, a likable comeback. I thought this was a funny commercial. We'll take a listen to it in a second. And I will note, they pulled this commercial together in just 5 days because it was a clapback of what Kendall Jenner did during the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if you saw that commercial where she was making fun of the Kardashian curse, even though she's a Jenner, all the basketball players. So Ben Simmons, Tiffany Haddish, and some other popular stars who have dated either athletes or have been in a huge, I guess, celebrity dating, you could say, like very public, went and did a commercial together. You can take a listen to some of it.
Have you or someone you know been injured emotionally in a high-profile relationship? It's very common.
Your ex is subbing you in commercials?
If so, you may be entitled to retribution.
No, compensation.
That's what I said. You need emotional injury specialists, Simmons and Haddish.
You need
the excommunicators.
Oh, that was smooth. So no one ever.
So it looks like a personal injury commercial. Ben Simmons has suspenders on and he's got the jacket off, but he's wearing a tie.
Yeah.
And he's got a Rand Spear mustache.
The look of a lawyer.
But it was actually for Sleeper, which was like a fantasy sports commercial. So I was a little confused.
Like
but
Sleeper Picks?
Yes.
Presented to you by
yes.
Sleeper.
But then it went on and brought Kayla Nicole, which is Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend. Offset was in it, who used to be married to Cardi B, or maybe they still are. I'm not sure about the
I
legal
was
aspect
devastated
of it.
when that broke up.
But, I know. It was really the talk of the town. But they brought in famous people to trash them and say, these two people are actually horrible at what they do, and they totally lied to me and told me they would have my relationship set to the side. The public wouldn't know about it. But they're hard, and they're like, that's not the right thing. You didn't edit the right stuff. It's a very funny commercial, but it's about 2 minutes and 30 seconds long.
Oh, that's too long.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a thing going around. I've seen it on Twitter. It's in my algorithm because it's Formula One related. Because at the Super Bowl was Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion of Formula One,
right,
with Kim Kardashian. And they said that the FIA has now fined Lewis Hamilton for ignoring red flags.
But I also heard a report that said he was doing that to get more famous. And I don't think people realize that he's the GOAT of F1 in a sense.
Globally.
I've never heard of him.
He's $60 million a year to drive.
When I saw the Lewis Hamilton, I had to Google who he was.
He's a global. He's like Messi.
Yes.
Well, I know who Kayla Nicole is. I don't know who these other people are. But yes, you know what? You know what? Shout out to Ben Simmons because he pulls it off. He does a good job. I know he's got a lot of time on his hands because no one wanted him this year.
He's got a lot of money on his hands.
Yeah, but you know, at least he's out there having some fun.
I'd love to be in his spot.
Maybe
I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, maybe he's not like the personality dud kind of that we thought he was. Sometimes you get that feel from an athlete, but it's not true.
I actually always liked Ben.
I liked to talk when we would talk to him at Sixers training camp.
Agreed.
When I was with Anthony, if I could get a word in edgewise.
Agreed.
He was always like a kind of a compelling personality to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the one time we went out to
Anthony loved him.
We were in Vegas. And like, believe me, at the end
you were out there for summer league.
For summer league, but at the end I was ready to move on from Ben. But that was more about the Ben fans than Ben themselves.
Yeah.
Ben himself, because the Ben fans were so annoying. But yeah, I was out summer league with Anthony, and like Ben was a nice guy. You know, like far like I'm not trying to say anything bad about Embiid, but far more friendlier than a lot of the guys that were on the team. Ben's a good dude.
Embiid was way more guarded, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Around him. I mean, look at it. He's 7'2". Like that guy can't ever go unnoticed.
Right.
I have a picture of Harry and I with Embiid, and I'm standing on a chair like this, and Harry's standing on the ground, and Embiid's in the middle. He's still taller than me, and I'm standing on a chair.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize just how big.
No, he's
enormous.
It's almost not real how big he is.
His torso is the size of that screen behind me.
The most impressive thing that you'll ever see in sports is when I go to a basketball game, and if you're down on the court, the size of those guys and how big and athletic they are.
TV doesn't know justice.
Football players are unbelievably athletic and big, but not like a Joel Embiid. No, you're right. TV does not do it justice.
He is an absolute. They go, all men are created equal. I say, yeah, my ass.
I was at a Super Bowl party back in Minnesota when it was 2018.
Yeah,
the Eagles, and Shaq was DJing.
Oh my God, he's enormous.
And as close as I was able to get to him, he's the biggest human being you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
Very big.
His head is the size of like a Peterbilt.
All right, what else do you have, Trish?
All right, second one, a little bit more as we wrap up the Super Bowl. Kenny Walker, I found a lot more respect for him because this is probably exactly what I would do after I won a Super Bowl, and I feel like the vibes were different. The Seahawks, they weren't let's go crazy and celebrate. They were chill. So Ryan Clark finally asked Kenny Walker what he did the night he won the Super Bowl.
You guys were the most calm Super Bowl winners that I've ever seen. There wasn't no celebration. None of y'all turned up. Tell me at some point last night, y'all got lit when y'all got with y'all people, bro.
Well, I just chilled with my family. So I chilled with my family, went to the room and vibed out.
I would have done that too.
Lame. No way.
If you're with your family, you can have a great time no matter where you are.
At least
they could have been playing beer pong or something.
So
there.
is he married with kids or is it his mom?
Not that I know of. He's not married with kids.
Okay.
According to his Instagram.
What would you do?
Where are we going?
Yeah,
that's where
I'd be out. I would
Vegas.
want to be out with everybody.
I don't know
celebrate.
where are we going. I know Jason Kelsey. If you watch the documentary, he came back to the room with his. Well, they also lost that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, if I'm losing on it's a whole different
say
story.
Family. He could have a big family. He could have 10 cousins and aunts and uncles who are all celebrating. Like maybe they're just chilling watching TV.
The visual that you feel is that mom and dad are sitting there and they're watching The Voice or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's tired. That was a long game. They'll have the parade, right?
No, you got to have tons of energy after that.
Maybe adrenaline.
Like I love watching them celebrate like in the NHL when they win the cup because everything that goes into that grind of 4 rounds, like Ovechkin's doing snow angels in a fountain and just absolutely buckled.
Wherever everybody is going is where I'm going, and I'm probably not sleeping for 36 hours. So we taking a plane? Who's chartering the plane to Vegas?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. All right, but listen, you know what? I like Kenny Walker even more now.
Yeah,
because not everybody needs to be me, Jason.
But he did say, I don't know if you all saw, he said that his dad does not like crowds. So this has actually been the first football game he's been to, the dad, because his dad does not like crowds. So Kenny Walker's agent had to convince his dad to come to the Super Bowl.
First running back to win the MVP award since 1997.
What?
Yep.
Who won it in 97?
Terrell Davis?
Yeah, it was Terrell Davis. It's the first one.
Would that have been 97?
The second one was for John.
Yep.
Pat Bowen saying, this one's for John.
And then he retired.
Did you watch the Elway documentary, by the way, on Netflix?
The what?
The John Elway documentary on Netflix?
No.
It's great.
Oh, okay. I'm going to put that down on my phone because I've been watching a lot of...
the pressure that he came in with because he,
wouldn't
option.
go to the Colts.
He wouldn't go to the Colts because Irsay was a total gong show at the time. And the contract that he signed and how it started... It's a really good doc. I love a good sports doc.
Is it a one-off or is it a series?
It's a one-off.
Okay, all right.
An hour and 40 minutes. I think.
And
I watched the whole friggin' thing.
I'm in. All right, lastly, Patricia.
Last one, Stephen A. They go down to Disney, and then he was finally asked about his remarks about Sam Darnold earlier in the season. And I think Stephen A. got close, and I think he actually did admit he may have been wrong on this one. It took some pulling. But take a listen.
San Francisco was depleted. That didn't count with me. I needed to see him against his kryptonite, the Los Angeles Rams. And I picked the Rams to win that game. I thought that Sam Darnold would fold against Matthew Stafford when it really, really counted, and he didn't. Which is why I had to stand down 2 weeks ago on a Monday and say,
well, what did you say?
And I had to give it to him.
But what did you say?
I had to stand down. I did say I was wrong. I did say I was wrong. I said I was wrong about Sam Darnold.
He said he was wrong.
Yeah, 19 of 38 on the game. He did not have a great game, and I can't believe he threw it 38 times. They ran a lot of plays.
Yeah, and the run was effective.
And, boy, he threw a couple balls up there that could have easily been intercepted. So, I mean, that was – you got to the second half.
He looked good because Drake May didn't.
They were – you know what? You never see this. They didn't run a fourth down in the entire game. No one went for it on fourth down.
Really?
Nope. And Vrabel had that chance on 4th and 1, which I couldn't believe he didn't take.
Yeah.
But you know what the Seahawks were doing? Playing for field goals.
Yep.
Go figure.
Yep.
Just got to win the game.
Well, they said that they're not going to be able
up.
to score. They're not going to be able to score. We'll kick 5 field goals and we'll win. And they were right.
Yeah. And we
That's
know
what
that
they're
Drake
doing.
May's not going to shred us up. And it worked.
And it worked.
The thing about the Super Bowl was kind of nice. It was almost like new blood, even though it was the Patriots when they've been so many.
Yeah, but
that's
so
not that
different.
Patriots team.
Nah, it's not.
It's not that team anymore. And to see Seattle in there was an interesting story.
Yep. All right. News at noon. Great job there, Trish. Appreciate it. Let's go to David in Drexel Hill. David wants to talk some Philadelphia Eagles. What's up, David?
Hey, how y'all doing there?
Hey. How are you?
Hey, listen, you guys made me call. My wife was like, no, wait till you get home. I said, no, I'm calling now.
Call.
I'm sitting in the car while she's in the store. Hey, listen, the thing with the offense that was the worst about the offense, everybody keep getting it wrong. Because you look at like AJ, in our last game we played, he missed the ball like 3 times. The running back dropped the ball. Both wide receivers, the tight end, everybody dropped the ball in the game. Here's the problem with the Eagles. They had no discipline on the line. They had, 14 penalties in a game. That's crazy.
That's coaching.
Jalen Hurts run a 35, 40-yarder finally because he ain't been running, and then he gets called back. In the playoff game, it gets called back. The run he did make, I think it was a 15-yarder because somebody holding.
Oh, the
So I think
pre-snap
they're
penalties,
okay.
David, last year were maddening at times.
Yes.
Because it was first
And
and
then let me ask you
15. It
this.
was,
In the worst game, the season like they say Jalen Hurts had, right? Because me and my grandson argued about this, and I was pointing out to him, even in his bad season, he had 25 touchdowns. There's only 3 other quarterbacks in the entire NFL that had 3 or more than him.
So you think
Touchdown.
so let me ask you, do you think Jalen Hurts had a great season?
Well, he had a good season. He won the division.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But the
He
eyes don't really
playoffs.
show that, do they?
champ.
He may not be the biggest reason why they weren't ultimately a good football team.
Well, let me
You can't
tell
say
you
he had
why
a good
I was
season
mad
when he
at
had
Jalen.
2 games without a reception in the second half. I mean, come
But
on.
then you look at all the other quarterbacks, all the interceptions they have. But here's why I was mad at Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
Because I was like, come on, buddy, you got to run a little bit more. We need it. You
Yeah.
got to run. So I want to ask y'all this in closing.
Yeah.
Do you think if Jalen Hurts comes back and has a great season, because they talking about will the team give him more money or not, and if they don't give him more money and he has a great season, you think Jalen Hurts might walk on us in a year?
Well, I mean, I don't know how many more years he's under contract, but if he comes out next year and he shows real progress in this offense and he improves, he doesn't have any more guaranteed money after this year. Yeah, they're going to redo the contract
deal.
and lower the cap number and spread
Guaranteed
that
money.
out. Yeah, he'll get more guaranteed
That's what
money,
they do.
sure. That's what you do with quarterbacks. The Eagles have never – this isn't Jerry Jones. When guys are like, you know that you're going to pay the guy, so why wait and haggle? Just do it and pay less money.
Play from ahead.
They did it with AJ.
Yep.
They did it with Devontae Smith. They do it with everybody.
Yeah.
And
Cowboys do the opposite, and they lose Micah Parsons.
Right. They do the opposite, and they end up paying more money to Dak. They end up paying more money to CeeDee Lamb. But Jerry likes the whole soap opera of it, and he's like, well, I want to see him prove it to me again. Either you're keeping the player long-term or you're not. The idea you were allowing CeeDee Lamb to leave is crazy.
Yeah.
So you just pay him.
Let me ask you this. And I want to ask Trish this, too. Do you think there's a portion of the fan base that wants Mannion, Sirianni, Hurts to fail next year so that they can move on?
Not Mannion.
Okay, so he's too new.
Well, he would be like if the offense looks great next year and everything's like, wow, this is awesome. People are going to want Mannion to stay, and they're not going to lose.
What if they go
Mannion.
9-8 next year?
Man, the devil's in the deep.
And the quarterback's not very good.
I'm just telling you, Jalen Hurts, like the Eagles. I'm not telling you that they will move on because like you had said earlier, you're just not going to move on and then say, hey, who am I going to get now?
Yeah.
But don't think for a second they won't.
Yeah. Well, it's Howie. If you want to, the biggest predictor of future behavior is past behavior.
And look how they operate.
Look what they did with Wentz, who they invested a ton to move up and get a ton of money, and then as soon as they realized, he ain't what we thought, they moved on.
They won a Super Bowl with Doug. They went back to the playoffs the next year, and then they fired him after a bad year.
Yeah.
Yep.
They hired Chip Kelly with all that fanfare. They zipped him in the third season.
Yep.
They didn't wait till the year was over.
And they've been right in doing it every time.
Every time.
So if they decide, you know what, man, we can't afford to lose Mannion.
Nope.
They'll do it.
Yeah.
If Sirianni gets to an NFC Championship game, it's going to be tough to move on from him.
Of course.
But he was in a Super Bowl. They had the season they had, and they were strongly considering moving on from him. And they were looking into hiring Bill Belichick. Thank God they didn't hire Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
But don't think for a second that they won't. Let's go to Joe in West Philadelphia. Joe, what do you got? How are you?
Hey, man. Hey, I was hearing you guys talk about the A.J. Brown Eagles situation.
Yeah.
My thing is, I don't really understand how A.J. just flips his attitudes off and on like that. You know, I mean, if your teammates love you, the locker room, people love your organization, why do you want people to, like, walk around on eggshells around you? Like, you got to worry about if this week A.J. feeling like this, if next week, you know what I mean, he's feeling like that. I mean, I think as a teammate, I don't like how you turn his attitude off and on. And
hey, Joe, your phone's cutting in and out. So
I can turn my attitude off and on, like the drop of like flipping a switch. So, yeah, I don't find that hard to believe at all. There's players that are like that.
I'm not going to, as much as I came out and I said that I would trade A.J. Brown, I also have to be truthful and in what I know and to tell you that I've never heard one bad word about A.J. Brown inside the locker room from any of his teammates. The only thing I've ever heard is that he's loved by the front office. He's loved by the coaching staff. He's loved by his teammates.
Yeah.
So I think that he puts stress on the quarterback and he puts stress on Nick Sirianni last year and he put stress on Kevin Patullo with his behavior. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Sure he did. Do I wish that he wasn't going out there and griping on social media? Yeah. It'd be better if he wasn't doing that, but he was.
It's part of the package.
When I heard A.J. Brown on the Micah Parsons podcast, the first thing I heard was, well, that's great. He wants to be back. But then I listened to it again, and I said, you know what? This guy is deliberate and as calculated as any player that's been here.
Savvy.
He is.
He is.
So after losses, he doesn't talk. He puts out his stuff on social media, and then by the time he's talking to the media again, he's not mad anymore, right?
No.
After the season's over, he doesn't talk to the media. The first time that he actually speaks, he's saying that he loves Philly and everything's great or whatever else. I don't necessarily know if I believe it.
You think it's a put on?
A lot of cliches, brother. We'll play it coming up, so we can go and you can hear it. So listen to it from that standpoint,
with that mindset going in.
A.J. Brown isn't a guy that speaks out emotionally after losses. He doesn't say anything, or when he's mad, he doesn't say anything.
That's actually a mature thing.
It's smart.
Yeah,
it's smart. So he didn't speak after getting eliminated from the playoffs. He spoke at the Super Bowl. Listen to the cliche machine that he is. Also coming up next, Dave Dombrowski and more Phillies conversation. What about the roster and an update on Zach Wheeler? When can we expect to hear Zach Wheeler coming back?
So important.
All right, that's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
And it's back east. I'm Patricia Caputo, and this update is brought to you by TireRack.com. Rain or shine, drive with confidence on Verdecidine tires from Tire Rack. Verdecidine tires deliver precision handling, dependable traction, and quiet comfort. Shipped fast and free in 2 years of road-free hazard protection. TireRack.com. Sixers took a big loss to the Trailblazers Monday night. Joel Embiid did not play due to right knee management. The team has off tonight and will head back home to take on the Knicks Wednesday night before their last game before the All-Star break. Sean Mannion and the Eagles hired former Vikings coach Chris Cooper as offensive line coach. This comes after Jeff Stoutland stepped away from the team last week. Zach Bertman joined the show to discuss whether or not A.J. Brown will be with him next season.
If you said to me, what do you think's going to happen? If you're asking me today, I would lean toward A.J. not being here. But there's also no substantive trade talks or anything of that nature, right?
Chris Cooper spent the last 4 years in Minnesota, but this offseason the Vikings chose not to retain him, so he finds his new home in Philadelphia. In the MLB, pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies tomorrow. This update is brought to you by Morgan Stern Medical this February at Morgan Stern Hair Restoration. When you book a hair transplant, you'll receive a full year of Nutrafol absolutely free. Call 610-831-HAIR or visit morgansternhair.com. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
the new offensive line coach and what they're trying to run on offense, what the new offense is going to look like. So all of that with
I am so curious.
I'm excited.
I am too, because it'll feel fresh.
For all the people that are saying, like, the Eagles are so dysfunctional, I'm really excited to see this. They've modernized their offense. They've made a decision. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop doing this thing where we're trying to make it work with Jalen Hurts and what the offense is right now, which, by the way, they won a Super Bowl with. So I get it.
Yeah.
But now's the time to pivot to it. So now they're running the preferred offense that they want to run.
Evolve or die.
Pretty much.
That's what it is in sports.
So will A.J. Brown be a part of it? Now, we played Zach Berman earlier. There was one with the guys yesterday who said he still believes that he's leaning towards A.J. doesn't come back. All right, Brandon Lee Gouton said there's a 0% chance that A.J. Brown's back this year. Again, this is because these guys know what it's like behind the scenes, not necessarily what's being reported.
Yeah.
It's an informed opinion.
Yeah, it's not just conjecture from the guy that works at Wawa.
Correct. So here's A.J. Brown on the Micah Parsons podcast. Here he is.
As an offense, we just come back and just really watch the tape and just, like I said earlier, rediscover ourselves and go to work each and every day, being accountable and just taking one day at a time. We have great leaders in our locker room. I'm fortunate to be a part of that, especially on offense. And we do have a lot of talent, but talent gets us nowhere.
Facts.
So it's all about being detailed and being disciplined.
Is there excitement with some of the new coaches y'all got in?
Yeah. Of course, yeah. I'm always excited. Sometimes change is not a bad thing. I have the utmost respect for KP. He to me, he did a tremendous job, and he has a great heart. But I'm excited for the season. I'm excited for what's to come.
There he is. So you watch the tape. You hold yourself accountable. You take it one day at a time. The leaders on offense, talent. Get you nowhere. You have to be detailed and disciplined.
Change is good.
And sometimes change is good. To me, listening to it a second, a third, and a fourth time, it sounded like that he was very well prepared to go on that podcast, and he would have had a lot different things to say a couple weeks ago.
Maybe.
Does he actually mean it?
Here's the thing. When players are on players' podcasts, they tend to get really raw and unfiltered. Sorry, Bill and Ricky Bell. They tend to get really unfiltered and kind of really go off the rails because they get comfortable and they're just talking to one of their boys or whatever. And Micah Parsons even said it, I would have loved to play for the Eagles. So I got to take him at his word on this.
Was that raw and unfiltered, or was that deliberate?
It was measured. But
sure.
He said all the right things. It sounds to me like a guy that's coming back.
So when I heard it, I had said, because then he goes on and he talks about Philly's home and he's talking about the fans, and you could hear him smiling. If you watch the video, you can see him smiling. I'm not telling you that I don't think, A.J. Brown.
It wasn't disingenuous feeling.
No, not at all. Not at all. That part of it, if I'm his agent, and this is a guy that along the entire process, like we talked about earlier, he doesn't talk after games where he's mad as hell.
No, he knows he's going to say something wrong.
And then he puts something out on social media, and then he he'll apologize for it too. Afterwards he'll say I was mad and I was frustrated and everything else. But AJ's a very, very intelligent individual. He is.
He doesn't just do things with no rhyme or reason.
Right. He doesn't react with emotion like I would.
Yeah.
I would react with emotion. I'm an emotional person. I wouldn't be able to hold it back.
Strategic.
It's a great word for it. So he comes out and if I'm advising AJ Brown and I'm his agent, I'm saying this is what you can do these interviews. This is what you need to do. You cannot come out and make it more difficult for you to go to a place.
Yeah.
You got to come out. If you want to get a new contract from a team, you need to come out and you need to make sure that you're happy. You take accountability. You talk about here are the talking points right here.
Yeah,
he perfectly did it.
He did. I mean, the only thing that I thought disingenuous was the Kevin Petula did a great job thing. He did say he's a great guy, but he's not gonna back the bus over a guy like Kevin Petula.
Nope.
So whatever. But everything else to me felt genuine. It sounded like a guy that wants to come back. Now, does he? I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's calculated to make him more marketable to other teams, but I don't think that it even matters. I think other teams already know everything they need to know.
He certainly didn't light himself on fire.
No.
Doing that. If anything, he helped himself.
He didn't do anything in that interview that said, now you have to get rid of him. To me.
Agreed.
At all. And to me, it's look, if I said this when they hired Mannion. I'm flying Mannion all over the country. First stop on the tour is A.J. Brown's house.
Yeah.
And I'm spending time with him. And we're talking about the offense and what I want to do with you as a player and Jalen and how I'm going to get this out of Jalen and how we're going to get this out of the running game. I want to get him bought in.
Is that what they want, though?
Do they want to keep him?
So the Eagles, it takes two to tango.
Absolutely.
And Howie Roseman's not in the business of getting rid of good players for less than what they feel like is their market value or in their prime. And he's still in his prime.
Yep.
This idea that A.J. Brown has lost a step, maybe he's not as fast or maybe he's not the same player he was when he was 26 or 27, it doesn't mean he's still not. He's at the end of his prime, probably.
He'll be 29 years old in June.
Let me tell you this. Guy's still only 29.
He's 28.
If he went to the Bills, he's getting 1,500 yards.
Yep.
If he goes to the Patriots,
Getting knocked out in
if he goes to the Ravens, if he goes to the Chiefs, he's getting 1,500 yards. But I need the same player with that mindset that we saw when he first came here and to what he would look like if he went and played with these other quarterbacks. I need that if he's going to stay here.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you're the Patriots, Bills, Ravens, any of these other teams, you're nuts. If A.J. Brown becomes available, you'd be crazy not to try to get him.
Well, yeah, because players like him don't become available. And if you have this quarterback and this weapon, he helps that.
Look at what the Eagles trading for A.J. Brown. People lost jobs.
They did.
They lost jobs in
Yeah.
Tennessee because they didn't re-sign him.
Yeah.
Look what it's done for the Eagles.
Yeah.
It could do that for another team. So if you can get draft picks, like real draft picks, Damian Harris, former Patriot running back, he was doing stuff for CBS Sports. This is after the Super Bowl. Here's Damian Harris.
Holistically, when you look at
Talking about the
the
Patriots.
success of this receiver room, it's kind of just been by committee. It's like one game, it's Booty. One game, Stephon Diggs. One day, Pop Douglas. One game, Mac Hollins goes out and catches some 50-50 balls and gives you a spark. You need an alpha out there. You need an alpha whose name is A.J. Brown. You need to go and get him.
You do.
And he's right.
Yeah. You need the guarantee. You can spread it around and have other guys contribute week to week to week. And some will say, well, that's Devontae. He's a number one that's listed as 2 because AJ's here. Can he step into that role and be the alpha? It's easy to want to be the alpha, John.
He's better off being the second
Robin.
Remember when
the Batman.
Remember when Cole Hamels was before
California Soft?
Yeah, before Cliff Lee and before Roy Halladay. It was always the Cole Hamels. He's more of a 1A. He's never really going to be a number one. In the World Series, he can be your best pitcher.
Yeah.
But over the course of an entire season, you needed a strong guy there with him. And they got Cliff Lee, perfect. They got Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee, perfect. But he was never that true ace number one.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith's a lot like Cole Hamels.
Yeah.
Excellent player, Pro Bowl level
analogy.
player, but he's not Roy Halladay.
He's not a guy that when your team is struggling, you've lost 5 straight games, is going to go in there and pitch a shutout complete game.
And carry it. And in the Super Bowl.
That's what Halladay would do.
Right. In the Super Bowl, he was the dagger.
Yeah.
Cole Hamels was the World Series MVP.
Yeah.
But to stand alone over the course of a season and then the next season and then the next season, that's what you're asking Devontae to be now, is to be the true number one
He's
guy.
a man.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know that he's that guy.
AJ can be. AJ has been.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And he
has been. And he's only 28.
God, he's only 20. Doesn't it feel like he's been in the league for 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm like as old as Antonio Brown. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's like he's been here for dog years.
Text on A.J. Brown on the text line. We've certainly had a lot of people calling in about A.J. Brown. Trish, what do we got on the text line with A.J.?
We do. So one texter says they need to keep A.J. Brown. Smitty getting the benefit of having CB2 on him and always having one-on-one because A.J. is getting quarterback one or double teamed. Watching Gonzalez at the Super Bowl, if that was us, he would be on A.J. and Smitty gets more opportunities. Without A.J., Smitty gets shut down.
It's a good point because you do get a preferred matchup when you have that guy. It helps everybody else because they get the lesser defender.
Are we at a point with the Eagles where we say, you know what? You just go out and get the next guy. You know what I mean? Before, they struggled to develop wide receivers. They drafted Devontae and then they brought in AJ following that. But before Devontae,
Jalen Reagor.
yeah, you struggled to get a guy. And like, look at the Steelers. The Steelers can draft and develop defensive players, specifically edge rushers, defensive tackles in their system, and wide receivers. They can take a third-round wide receiver, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf. He was with the Seahawks, but they can draft these guys in the third round and develop them, and they turn into great wide receivers. Yeah. Hines Ward.
Yeah.
Eagles could never do that. Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, and then who?
Jeez.
A lot of years.
Cooper.
A lot of years.
Yeah, I mean, not great.
A lot of years.
Yeah.
So, but are we at a
but
point?
also missing on guys like Jefferson.
Huge miss.
Yeah.
But can we now look at the Eagles and say, no, they can go out and get another guy? Because there's never been more wide receivers coming out of college than ever. Because in running backs now in high school, these guys aren't becoming running backs, they're becoming wide receivers.
Yeah.
Because wide receivers are making money, running backs are kind of the old school NFL.
And
so
the career's longer.
And the careers are longer. You make more money.
Yeah, less wear and tear.
Less wear and tear. You can be a wide receiver in your 30s and still be very productive and make a lot of money. So, I don't know. But I can't look at it that you can't find another wide receiver. But is it worth to trade A.J. Brown for a first-round draft pick without having that guy in the chamber? They don't have the guy ready to step in right now. He's not on the team.
Here's the thing. Yeah, you can go out and get another wide receiver. What's the cost per acquisition? What's the cost? What, Pickens is available from – he's an unrestricted free agent from Dallas.
Well, they're going to franchise
he's a handful and a half.
Well, yeah, they're going to franchise him $28 million.
Yeah. So you're not going to have him.
My buddy Len says I'm not trading him to a contender. Jets, Titans, Raiders.
So you're looking to punish him.
But he's not going to go to one of those teams and be happy. And if I'm one of those teams, I'm not trading for A.J. Brown to come in and stink. Because I've already seen what he looks like if you have bad quarterback play. But maybe the Titans, because they have a young and he knows down there. But if I'm A.J. Brown, I will trade him to a contender outside of the NFC. I ain't sending him to the 49ers.
Well, you're not sending him to a team like the Jets because they're not going to give you their first-round pick. It's too high.
And he's not going to be happy there, and I wouldn't trade for him if I was the Jets.
No, he'd be a total mess.
All right, we have Dave Dombrowski sound coming up. Also,
Jeff Mosher.
Mosher's coming up at 1 o'clock.
Mosher on hockey coming up at 1 o'clock.
Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, what do I got? I got to talk about my hair? Well, Mertitas is bald.
Your hair's looking good, man.
But I'm looking good. I got a freshie on Friday before the daddy-daughter dance. I got a freshie, and I'm telling you, it wouldn't feel like a freshie if it wasn't for Morgenstern Hair Restoration. All right, 3 locations. Bala Kinwood, Wayne, Pennsylvania. I was at their office. First time I was at their office a couple weeks ago. Amazing. And Lancaster. So people out there in the Lancaster area, you can check it out. But right now, Morgenstern Hair, when I say that if you want your hair back, all stages of hair loss, it's just not just about the hair transplant that I had, and you can see the results. My hairline's amazing, right? But maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're just starting to lose your hair and you're saying, wow, like I've noticed in the last year, I'm really like the hairline starting receding. It's not as thick as it was. All stages of hair loss, that's Morgenstern Hair Restoration. Multiple options for men, both non-invasive and the hair transplant that I had. How about this? Men and women. If you're out there and you're thinning, maybe after pregnancy, right? And you're postpartum and you're like, wow, I'm really starting to lose my hair. I'm really shedding my hair. All stages of hair loss, that's Morgenstern Hair. The same crew that did my hair. I've known them for over 10 years, Morgenstern Hair Restoration. And you book a hair transplant in February, you will receive a full year of Nutrafol, absolutely free. And the Nutrafol is helping your transplant results stay strong, healthy, and thriving long term. Their website's morgensternhair.com. That's Morgan with an E, morgensternhair.com. Or you can call their office and speak to their hair team right now. 610-831-HAIR. 610-831-HAIR. morgensternhair.com.
The Fanatics and
Our Eagles insider.
Love Rage.
Yep. Calm Like a Bomb. Oh, that's the name of the song.
If the world ever needed Zach De La Roca, it's now.
Oh, he's so good.
So good. You ever see him live?
Yeah, I saw Rage Against the Machine at the Spectrum.
I did too. Probably same show.
Was it where Remote Africa came out and was speaking before and they were booing her off the stage?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was there.
Fantastic. So good live.
Yep.
I've been watching like old concerts of bands that I like the 1997 Pink Pop Festival, Rage's entire set. Like, he's a maniac.
He's as good of a front man, especially live. I mean, it's an amazing, because I've seen, and can't think off the top of my head, where you see them live, you're like, yeah, they were fine.
Yeah,
that's not when you see Rage Against the Machine live. That's not what, especially if you have general admission and you're down on the
too far.
Floor.
Yeah, I watched the pro shot footage of put a bullet in your head, and he's just building up. No. Yeah, and it builds up, and then he just.
Your bleeping head.
And I'm like in the home studio, like thrashing the walls.
It's crazy. All right, Dave Dombrowski. Dave Dombrowski spoke yesterday. Rob Thompson, because spring training starts tomorrow. Pitchers and catchers.
No, are you serious?
Tomorrow. First game's the 16th. Yep, first game's the 16th.
Wow.
And then the WBC starts in the beginning of March.
How about that?
Yep. But so we're going to do Rob Thompson here. Rob Thompson making the case that the team is in a better spot now than they were a year ago in spring training. Listen.
We can't forget that we won 96 games last year, and we got a really good club, and we're going to turn over probably 20 to 25% of our roster, and that's not including having Duran for the entire year. But I like the improvements we've made to our bullpen. We got a new right fielder. We're going to inject hopefully some youth into our team with the Crawfords of the world and the Painters of the world and Otto Kemp. Miller's not far away, and I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it this year than I was last year because I think we're better this year on this day this year than we were on the same day a year ago.
Yep. How are you doing? My name's Rob Thompson. I am the general sales manager for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah. You buying
nice to meet you. He's doing a good job selling, man.
You buying that they're a better team at this time this year than they were last year?
I'm
not.
I am not, but I will tell you the lineup is, I would say the lineup is equal. The bullpen is much better because you have Duran and you have a couple of other arms that you didn't have last year.
Yeah, which is important.
And you don't have Ranger Suarez and you don't have Zach Wheeler to start the season. We have Zach Wheeler. Rob Thompson on Zach Wheeler? Or is it Dombrowski on Zach Wheeler? Here's Dave Dombrowski on Topper on Zach Wheeler. Here it is.
Did Zach Wheeler get off the mound last week? I think I had heard that he might. Just kind of wondering exactly what he's up to right now.
No, he did not. He's only at the 90-foot phase still. He threw on Saturday. They said it was very good. I didn't see it, but they said it was very good. We're still plugging along, and it all depends on his strength and that type of thing. But all that being said, he's doing well. I don't think he'll be ready for opening day, but it's not going to be too far behind that. There's really no push-pull. We're just waiting on clearance, and it's all based on strength and things like that. But he's doing fine. We're not going to push him. He's far too important for our club to push him and him have a setback, and then we're behind the eight ball.
So he says he's not too far behind opening day. So what does that mean? Middle of May?
Yeah, to me, that's, you're starting early April. Yeah, I think you're looking at mid-May, Memorial Day at the latest.
All right.
So that's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. You survive until then, and you don't have as much wear and tear on the guy.
Right.
In total.
That's if, because you don't have Ranger Suarez.
Yeah.
That's if nobody else has a setback. You have three starting pitchers in your rotation that are pitching in the World Baseball Classic, and that scares the hell out of me. Chris Sanchez last year had a career high in innings with the postseason, and he's going to be pitching in the World Baseball Classic. And he's not just like Aaron Nola's pitching for Team Italy. All right, like how many innings is he going to throw? Who knows? Team Italy, what are they winning?
Yeah.
Chris Sanchez is pitching for the Dominican Republic. They're the host. They're the host team.
Yeah, they're going all the way.
He's looked at as a hero in his country.
Yeah.
So he's not going down there and he's going to say, I got to remember the season starting or whatever. These guys are coming in and they're cranking it up in March that they don't do on a regular basis.
Yeah, the arm's not ready for the torque they're going to put on it early. So it's scary.
Anyway, with that being said, I don't think the team's that far off. If everything goes as planned, which is Wheeler comes back in mid-May, There's no injury worries, and all the starters are fine.
Yeah, I'm worried about the Wheeler thing. I am, because he is of the utmost importance.
He can make or break.
Yeah, and I hate to see a guy career not get back to where it was because of what he went through.
Yeah, there's no indication that is where we're headed, but
sometimes just the time off at a certain age too.
He's 36.
Yeah, I mean, shut it down for 36, and boy, you can never get back again.
Yep.
I remember Bundy. Chris Tarian told me that when they had the lockout year in the NHL and he came back, he said he was done. That killed him. He was done.
Well, Brad Lidge told us last week that he pitched in the World Baseball Classic with the Astros. It was his worst professional season afterwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Did he say why?
Well,
or why he thought now, looking back on it?
I mean,
he just went too hard too early.
And he talked about studies. Brad Lidge is probably the most intelligent guest we'll ever have on the show.
Besides Jason Stark when it comes to baseball, yes.
Yeah, he's an archaeologist, just like general intelligence.
Yeah.
He talked about the studies. He actually caught himself because he was saying like how the studies have shown it's not good for pitchers, position players, whatever. It's not good for pitchers. And then he talked about his own experience. And then he said, "Oh, but I'm sure the Phillies are going to be fine." Because I said, "Well, Brad, this pitcher's pitching, that pitcher's pitching, this pitcher's pitching. Oh, I'm sure they're going to be fine, but
I wasn't."
As Herb would say, do I not have it on this board? Where's Herb?
Okay.
I'm sure they're going to be okay.
Go ahead, take it over. You're the boss.
But I am, I'm getting there with the Phillies.
You're getting excited.
I'm getting there with the Phillies. I'm getting there.
I tell you, it's Johnny Marks when it comes to baseball.
But also, believe me, I'd be pissed. If I thought this team was going to suck, I would say it. I don't think they're going to suck.
They're going to be intriguing.
They can win 90 games or more.
And then you see what happens in the season. What do they do?
You got to get to the trade deadline.
Yeah. What do they do?
They got to be healthy. They got to get to the trade
So do you believe in Dombrowski at the deadline?
Well, he failed 2 years ago, and he made a good trade for Bader last year.
Okay, so he's batting 500.
Yeah.
Pretty good in baseball.
Yeah, Austin Hayes didn't work out. Harrison Bader did.
Yeah.
And you may need to go out at the trade deadline and get your next Harrison Bader.
You think Jeff Mosher ever shakes somebody's hand sitting down?
No.
I don't think so.
No. We actually have that list that we're going to do after Mosher. But yes, Jeff Mosher. He has reviewed everything possible regarding the new Eagles offense coordinator. He gives his thoughts on the Eagles' new offense, the loss of Jeff Stoutland, and just how important is A.J. Brown to this offense, especially in this new Sean Mannion offense. Is that somebody you can move on from? Jeff Mosher on all of that's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Back to the East, I'm Patricia Caputo, and this update is brought to you by Uber Eats. Philly, are you hungry? A good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at La Catrita Food Truck from now until June 30th. Buy one, get one deal on select items on the app. Order now only at Uber Eats. Terms apply. See the app for details. Sixers have off tonight as they are heading home after going 3-2 on their West Coast trip. The team finished off the trip with a big loss to the Trailblazers Monday night without Joel Embiid. Sixers will now prepare to take on the Knicks Tuesday in Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sean Mannion and the Eagles hire former Vikings coach Chris Cooper as offensive line coach. This comes after Jeff Stoutland stepped away from the team last week. Zach Bertman joined the show on Monday to discuss the type of offense Sean Mannion and his crew could be expected to run next season.
Some of the concepts that you see there from Seattle as far as the under center play action, the motion, those are concepts that the Eagles will use more with Sean Mannion. And
Cooper spent the last 4 seasons in Minnesota, but this offseason the Vikings chose not to retain him, so he finds his new home in Philadelphia. Pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies starting tomorrow. This update is also brought to you by Dairy Queen. The new Swayze at DQ has opposites attracting. Spicy flamethrower chicken strips now served with a dip of sweet DQ soft serve. Sounds wrong, but tastes so right. The new Swayze menu at DQ at participating locations. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Lebanon bologna sandwich with American cheese.
You like the Lebanon? A little salty for me. I like the Oscar Mayer bologna.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I haven't had it in years. I don't go and buy bologna.
It's actually not.
Oh.
When I eat ham and cheese sandwiches, I find myself very thirsty afterwards. The Lebanon bologna doesn't do that.
Really?
My daughter loves Lebanon bologna. My little girl, my 4-year-old, she goes, "What do you want for?" I go, "What do you want for lunch?" "I want a daddy bologna sandwich." So the Lebanon bologna's daddy bologna.
So you're Lebanese now?
No, this is not Lebanese. This is Amish.
My brothers both loved growing up liverwurst sandwiches. You ever eat liverwurst?
No.
I wouldn't even make a sandwich because the liverwurst was in the same container. It was so disgusting.
Eat that with mustard?
Yeah, it would be yellow mustard, cheese, and liverwurst.
Jeff Mosher in a second. I used to, here's a blast from the past, the Woolworths in Abington.
Oh, I remember Woolworths.
Woolworths used to had a restaurant in it. It was like a diner inside of it.
Really?
Yes. And my buddy's mom worked at Woolworths, so we used to, and he wouldn't go down because he lived in Hatboro, but I knew it was his mom. So I used to like ride my bike down there, and we would sit at the counter, and they made really good food. It was like Friendly's style food.
Yeah.
You ever go to Friendly's? They have the good burgers and the fries and the coleslaw. So they had that. But for whatever reason, I'll never forget, one of the pictures they had up in there was a liver and onions. It was like their special.
Oh.
And it was like, who's ordering liver and onions? My grandmother?
I give up liver every year for Lent. Every year.
I've never had it.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't imagine.
It looks disgusting. Like, I won't eat corned beef because it looks too disgusting to me. I'm not a corned beef fan.
I wouldn't be my first pick. I'd go turkey special over corned beef special.
Yeah.
But I'd go corned beef special.
Yeah.
Good sandwich. To discuss that and much more, Jason Martinez, the guy who loves his liver and onions. Philly voice. Inside the Birds does a magnificent job covering the Eagles. His name is Jeff Mosher. What's up, Mosher?
What's up, fellas? If you don't mind, you could just put me back on hold and talk about liverwurst and bologna. I was enjoying that conversation.
All
I
right.
like neither of them.
We go to a deli. What sandwich are you ordering?
I'm kind of like a roast beef turkey, but I like a smoked turkey or some kind of like a spiced turkey and roast beef. That's basically it. It depends. If we go to Italian deli, I might get something really like fancier than that,
like a chicken parm or a veal parm.
Yeah, chicken parm, roast pork, something like that.
Jewish deli, yeah, I'm going lunch meat. Italian deli, I'm going like a veal parm. Yeah, veal cutlet. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, good call.
All right, so thanks,
Moshe.
Is the new
no problem. See you guys next week.
So is the new offensive line coach for the Eagles, is he a veal parm, chicken parm, cutlet sandwich, or is he liverwurst? Jeff Mosher.
I mean, if he's anything like most because he played offensive line too, so he's probably all of the above, John, in right. One sitting, like most offensive linemen are, I would think.
All right, so explain to our listeners, because you get like Jeff Stoutland, obviously he moves on. He wasn't going to be run game coordinator. He felt like it was the demotion, but the offense they're bringing in, how difficult would it have been for Jeff Stoutland? Explain to the listeners why Jeff Stoutland couldn't, or the Eagles wouldn't want him to be the run game coordinator and what offense they're trying to run.
Now, that's a tough one because, I mean, for the most part, since he's been here, Jeff Stoutland has, the Eagles' run game, whether he's been the designer or not, has been a between the tackles run game, concepts like duo, which is double teams in the middle or just inside zone. Last year, they incorporated a little bit more diversity into their run game as they were trying to figure some things out. But there's not like 5 million styles of runs or run blocking, so I don't want to say that Jeff Stoutland couldn't do it. And, from what I understand, Jeff Stoutland was the one who decided that he wanted to step away from this. So right. I think he could have, but I think they were still going to bring in voices, coaches, personnel on the coaching staff that are more familiar with what Sean Mannion wants to run.
So a couple of weeks ago, you had a great comparison with what the Eagles were trying to do. You were talking about a full renovation on the kitchen where you're like, you won't even notice, you won't even know what the kitchen looks like after it's done. And then you talked about, we got new counters and we got new floors and we got new appliances and things like that. And you had talked about Mike McDaniel being a full renovation. Is Sean Mannion and what the Eagles are going to be doing on offense, is that a Mike McDaniel full renovation on what they had before?
Yeah, it's a gutting. It should be. Let's first say that it should be. because you've got now a new run game designer, a new tight end coach, new offensive line coach, new quarterbacks coach. So you obviously do that when you want to bring in your style of offense, and both the two pillars here, being Mannion and the pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard, come from that kind of a background, a Shanahan style background, and of course, LaFleur. Don't forget his involvement in this. Right. Mannion coached the last 2 years there, and even though he's from that tree, I would say he's been a little bit more adaptable than say Kyle Shanahan, who runs pretty much the same offense every year, whereas McVay and LaFleur have been more adaptable. But nonetheless, they are going to do it their way. That's why they're here. That's why these coaching changes are being made. And, yeah, this is going to be a challenge for the whole offense and the quarterback to learn it.
One of the things you said about Stoutland was he decided to leave, but he was marginalized in making that decision. How much does Stoutland leaving affect the future of Lane Johnson?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, he's owed a lot of money this year. So if he's working out to get his foot back in shape, I imagine he's doing that with the intention of playing. Now, that might have happened before all the coaching staff changes. But most guys I know, when they're owed a lot of money and when they're as good of a player as Lane Johnson is and has been, they don't want to go out from injuries. They want to at least they want to go out on their own terms. So I expect, without knowing anything more than that he would want to return and will.
Yeah, he's making a lot of money now. Landon Dickerson, and I always believe everybody worried about Lane, and remember he had the problems, he had the mental health stuff before, and you never know when he's going to retire. He's making a lot of money. He's still playing at a high level. I do think this is the point in time, Jeff, where you do need to look at the future past Lane Johnson, right? Like before, I wasn't necessarily, okay, you got to draft his replacement right now. You might want to start looking in the offensive line draft in the draft, because Landon Dickerson was banged up. Cam Jurgens looked like a shell of himself this past year. So probably the right year to start looking at an offensive lineman high in the draft. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think that the one thing I don't think will change about the Eagles is their investment in the trenches. And clearly you have to be concerned about Landon Dickerson, a little bit with Cam Jurgens. I'm more inclined to think that Jurgens, with a full off season of not being surgically repaired, will have an easier time getting back to form, but you never know. But yeah, you've got. I thought last year's depth on the offensive line wasn't as strong in years past, especially say like 2017. Right? You had Steph Wisniewski step in there at left guard. You had Big V step in there at left tackle, and they were still able to win a Super Bowl. The Eagles have always had good depth, and I thought last year a little shaky.
And it was really kind of put to the test last year with Lane in and out of games and all those injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you on Jurgens, by the way. Going into a season, preparing for a season, as opposed to recovering from a surgery, totally different. Let me ask you about the tight end position. Goddard had a really good year. I think he only missed 2 games. And we know the importance of a tight end as the security blanket for a quarterback, and maybe even more so, Jeff, in a new offense. Where are they going to do? Is Goddard an option? I mean, they don't have a lot of depth here. What's the situation at tight end?
Really interesting question, Jay. Normally when a guy takes the pay cut like he did last year,
he ain't doing it twice.
And then yeah, he's not doing it twice. But then also when you have a good year, it's kind of like. It's not apples to apples, but Josh Sweat did that, right? In his final year with the Eagles, he had taken a pay cut. They looped off the last year of his deal, so he'd become a free agent, and then he made a big deal, a lot of money in Arizona. So I have a feeling this one will depend on the market for Dallas Goedert. I wouldn't say it's impossible that he comes back, and certainly the Eagles, if you look at their tight end room, I mean, it's not just him, it's Grant Calcaterra. I think Kylan Granson only signed a 1-year deal. So they really only have, I think, Cam Latu under contract at that position. So they're going to have to put some money in it anyway. So if the price is right for Goddard, I don't think there should be a dismissed idea that he just can't return.
Yeah, Jeff Mosher, Inside the Birds, Philly Voice. I think the market will not be soft, but I don't think it's going to be. I think it'll be to where the Eagles can strongly consider keeping Dallas Goedert. If he was 2 years younger, if he didn't have the injury history, he would probably get more money
and find a way to structure that deal.
Mm-hmm. Right, but they also don't have an in-house replacement. So you have to keep that in mind. If you're going out in free agency and signing a veteran guy, he's going to cost money too.
Well, think about the line of tight ends they've had. It has not been an issue for a very long time.
Yep.
One guy to the next,
Right.
sell
Oh,
it.
yeah. No, they've always had an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had Ertz before I think Selleck retired, right? And then they had Goddard before Ertz was traded away.
Who was the guy in the
McNabb
years?
coming up in the pipeline?
It was Chad Lewis, L.J. Smith.
Yeah. I mean, they've had some really good tight ends.
Yeah, but the difference was it was fairly obvious, and the writing was on the wall that Goddard was ready for because they drafted him, and then he was an understudy, second tight end, and then by the time Zach Ertz, it was time for Zach to leave. He stepped right in. They don't have anybody. You just said Latu's the only guy on the roster.
There's no heir apparent.
Jeez. All right.
Yeah. One thing you just watch in that situation is it's usually about if someone's going to offer Goddard a contract. Like the Eagles could offer him maybe 1 year, and someone might offer 2. But if there's no guaranteed money in that second year, then it's really equates to a 1-year deal. So that's what I think will be the big thing. Will somebody offer Dallas Goddard guaranteed money in year 2 over deal? Or if it's not like he's 35. Like it could be whether it comes down to guaranteed money in the third year and how much.
Right. Yeah, and how much? Like you said, it is going to. The Eagles are going to look at it and say, "All right, like that's too much. We're not going to do it. It doesn't make sense." Or they're going to say, "Let's do it," because he's very important. As is the wide receiver position, Jeff Mosher, and AJ Brown on the Micah Parsons podcast said all the right things. He talked about love in Philadelphia, which I think he's being genuine. I was kind of going back and forth on the he's happy and he wants to come back and he's an Eagle. I'm sure you heard the audio. Where do you think A.J. Brown is with coming back? Because when you talk to some of the beats, Zach Berman had said yesterday in the morning that he would still lean that A.J. doesn't come back. I know Brandon Lee Gouton had said with me a couple weeks ago that he didn't think A.J. was coming back. Where do you stand with everything with A.J.?
Well, as I wrote on Philly Voice when all this happened, it is never in a player's best interest or organization's best interest to trash each other publicly if they're trying to work together on getting the player somewhere else. So, and I'm not saying that's what happened here. I'm just saying all of a sudden for A.J. Brown to have a change of heart and put on a good face when, he hasn't talked to the Philly media in months seems a little bit at least skeptical to me. Or
calculated?
To me. So, yeah, I mean, he's got a good agent, and agents can tell players, hey, I know how upset you are, but if you really want to be moved, then you've got to, not come off as disgruntled and angry, because a team that wants to trade for you doesn't want a guy who's going to, complain the first time something goes wrong, right? They want to think that they're getting a player who's, generally happy to be in the NFL playing where he is. If he's traded, so be it. So I could see that being a conversation between AJ, his agent, the agent, and the organization. Who knows? Well, I could also see a realistic scenario where can you get AJ, into your building, talking to the new offensive coordinator, talking to, the new coaches and say, hey, you're going to be featured prominently. This thing's going to work and convince him to not be at the end of the day, the Eagles have leverage. He's under contract.
Right.
They don't have to trade him, but you want him in the right mindset.
Yeah, I'd be sending Mannion out to his house with a nice slideshow presentation on the overhead projector like we had back in the day to really get him bought in. Other side of the ball, Jeff, the defensive side. We have not talked about it at all this offseason. There's going to be some changes there. What do you think is the most significant change? What do they do at the end position? Do they re-sign Phillips? What's the situation on that side of the ball? And what looks like it'll probably be Vic Fangio's last year.
Yeah, it looks like it. They obviously will have to figure out the contract situations for both Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. If they're going to be around for long, you want them extended now, not, when the closer they get to free agency. And both of those guys will probably command a decent amount of money. And then obviously they got to figure out, and I don't really know, I look forward to kind of, as we get closer to free agency, trying to figure out the plan here. But how does Nakobe Dean stay when you drafted a guy in the first round and Jahad Campbell? I know how well, we all know how well he's played. But the reality is that's the business, right? When you draft a first round pick, you don't keep him side. Maybe maybe for a little bit like they did as a rookie year, but not too much longer.
Yeah, and the fact they signed Bond to the contract a year before, the writing's on the wall with Nakobe, and which stings because he looked. He was a beast last year, but then he got injured again.
Yeah, when he came back, he was a man-child.
Which was probably when he got injured again, it was like, well, that's why he's not going to get re-signed ultimately.
Yeah,
is because he got injured again, and that was the problem with him going in.
You might have to go back to the Buddy Ryan era to find like two off-ball linebackers for the Eagles that were paid a decent amount of money at the same time.
Seth Joyner and Byron Evans.
Really the team philosophy.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, read Jeff inside the Birds, Philly voice. He does such a great job covering the Eagles. Thank you so much, Jeff. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, fellas. Thanks.
There he is, Jeff Mosher, who never saw a roast beef sandwich he didn't like.
You a roast beef guy, like a French dip?
I mean, yeah, I don't horseradish. I don't hot roast beef. I don't.
I'm not.
I haven't eaten them recently, but I have been buying roast beef from Wegmans. I've been getting the Kobe beef, which is like $30 a pound.
Yeah, that's insane.
But it's so good. And then they have a nice London Royal roast beef, which is
shaved.
actually more. It's more reasonably priced. It's like $13 a pound.
Well, you can get a huge London broil for like $12.
Roast beef, American cheese, little bit of mayo, salt and pepper. Bam!
No horseradish, huh?
Not on a cold sandwich, no.
Yeah, I don't do the horseradish either. I'm not a big fan of the roast beef because if I'm eating beef, I just want it to be a cheesesteak.
If the roast beef is right, they'll be back.
We went to the car show on Saturday. Me, my wife, and my son, his girlfriend. And then we walked over to the Reading Terminal Market after and I got this cheesesteak. I forget the name of the place. It was the size of a California redwood. It took me 3 sittings to eat this.
Is that right?
John?
So you took it home?
It was like this. Like, it was a messy eat. I went through like probably a roll of paper towels when I ate it. Unbelievable. And the car show was awesome.
And your whole body smells like the cheesesteak afterwards?
I've been sweating it out ever since. Yep. I smell like I've been on the grill working the cheesesteak.
So there's the Nick's, which is...
I think that's what it was.
Or there's like some couple other places there.
Yeah.
That
It
has
was
the
unbelievable.
See, if I would go roast pork.
Over cheesesteak?
With sharp provolone. Well, I eat cheesesteaks from my pizza shops, and they're good. So, like, I can't get a roast pork.
So if you're going specialty, you're going roast.
Yeah, if I'm in the city or I'm in South Philly, I go to Tony Luke's, or if I'm in the Reading Terminal Market, I'm probably going sharp. I don't like the broccoli lobster. I don't do the Italiano, but a fresh soft roll, Tony Luke's, roast pork with sharp provolone. Holy crap, man!
I'm not a big fan of the provolone.
Oh my God, the sharp provolone. I mean, Caputo, she's Italian, so she probably knows it. But an Italian hoagie with sharp. There's an Italian hoagie, and then there's an Italian hoagie with sharp provolone. There was actually a place in the Reading Terminal Market. I don't think it's there anymore. It was called. It was in all they sold was Italian hoagies.
Yeah,
and they would have a non-thick roll, but it'd be fresh. And they would put sharp provolone crumpled on the bottom with the oil and vinegar on the bottom. It's called Rocco's Italian hoagies. They would put a romaine leaf lettuce, not shredded lettuce. They put the whole leaf romaine on the bottom, on top of the sharp provolone, the oil and the vinegar, and then they put the meat, and then if you like tomato and onion on top.
Wow.
And dude, I'm telling you, I could eat 3 of them in a sitting.
And they're big too.
They're not that big.
No, they're not.
No, it's like probably a 10-inch roll.
Okay.
And it's not that
you
filling.
can eat 30 inches of Italian hoagie.
It's not like if you ever have
I don't believe that.
A belly filler.
Yeah.
Italian hoagie. Yeah, I don't want that. I want the Rocco's with the sharp provolone.
Okay. And you want to taste all the elements of the hoagie.
Just the right amount of oil and vinegar. Are you Caputo, you Italian hoagie fan?
I don't mind Italian hoagies,
With that
but I
Paisan
agree.
name, you better be.
I don't.
But she eats carrots in the back.
No, Ricky yesterday was like, "What are you eating?" He thought I was eating a ring pop.
No,
it was a
That's
carrot.
a violation.
Yeah, she likes carrots.
Non-GMO carrots. I'm talking about like the ones that
I worked at a deli, and there was this old Italian woman used to always come in, and she'd put her, "Can I get this? Can I get that?" And she would always mix it up. She'd always say, "Can I have a hot pound of half cap?" She wanted a half a pound of hot capicola, but she called it a hot pound of half cap. Can I get a half a pound of hot every single time? Hot pound of half cap.
I'm being told the Knicks is Tony and Knicks. My buddy Kevin Key texted me.
Yep.
Oh, love it. Love it. Can't get enough.
It was colder than you walking through the city to go to the auto show.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't have went.
bless you.
Oh,
I wouldn't have went. But yet you went and you left with a cheesesteak and brought it home.
Oh, yeah. Me, my wife, we all went to the Reading Terminal after and just loaded
So
up.
you were going right to the car.
Right across the street.
You were going right to the car, though.
No, I had to walk a block and a half.
All right, but you weren't going into the car show with a cheesesteak with you.
No, hell no, we went after her. I couldn't carry that dagwood around with me. I'd have broke my back.
610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. All right, so the 2 Eagles Super Bowl wins. Where would they be ranked? This
In the history of Super Bowls?
Yeah, I don't know what to call him. But he ranked the best Super Bowls 1 through 60. Where would the Seahawks be and where would the Eagles be last year and 2017? We'll tell you coming up next, and I think you'll be surprised. Did you think the Seahawks, that was like an all-time team that you watched play?
No.
All right. Well, that's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Middays with Marks.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Headed back east, I'm Patricia Caputo with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Sixers have off tonight as they are headed home after going 3-2 on their West Coast trip. The team finished off the trip with a big loss against the Trailblazers Monday night without Joel Embiid and Dominic Barlow. Sixers will now prepare to take on the Knicks Tuesday night in Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sean Mannion and the Eagles hire former Vikings coach Chris Cooper as their next offensive line coach. This comes after Jeff Stoutland stepped away from the team last week. Zach Bertman joined the morning show Monday to discuss how likely it is that A.J. Brown is on that squad next season.
If you said to me, what do you think's going to happen? If you're asking me today, I would lean toward A.J. not being here. But there's also no substantive trade talks or anything of that nature, right?
Cooper spent the last 4 years in Minnesota, but this offseason the Vikings chose not to retain him, so he finds his new home in Philadelphia. In the NHL, Flyers continue their Olympic break. Flyers goalie Dan Vladar and Team Czechia will face off against Flyers coach Rick Tocchet and Team Canada Wednesday morning. Pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies tomorrow. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Score unbeatable deals and get matched with the perfect bed. They make sleep easy. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
much club talk we have between Dombrowski and Topper? All they do is
Good
say
club.
club. Yeah, like good club.
Yeah, that's baseball parlance.
We have a good club.
Good club. And in hockey, we have a good room.
Right. All right. Well, there you go.
By the way, Bill Colarulo just came in, and what they're going to talk about today, I think, is very interesting. Which head coach is the last coach standing of the four?
You can make a case that they all could not be here much longer.
So you have Sirianni, who's the longest tenured.
Yep.
5 years, I guess it is now.
Yep.
Five
for
seasons.
five.
5 seasons. You have Nick Nurse, who's obviously dealing with a very volatile situation. I think doing a pretty good job with it.
Yeah.
As best he could. You have Rob Topper. And then you have Rick Tocchet in year one of a 5-year deal. But hockey has the shortest average length of tenure at 1.9 seasons. Why do they always fire coaches in hockey? Because it works.
Right. It's just it's what you
do.
It's what you do, and
you can't fire the team.
The Eagles will. I mean, they strongly considered firing Sirianni after 2023.
Yeah,
and they made the playoffs that year, and they're coming off being in the Super Bowl
because of how it looked in the whole second half.
But also, like, they're on the inside, so they know it's like, could we be better off with it? The Eagles aren't saying to themselves, well, he did win a Super Bowl 2 years ago. How can we possibly fire him? No, they're saying if we wait another year, it could be worse, and then we've really dug ourselves a hole.
Yeah.
With Doug won a Super Bowl. They went to the playoffs, and they almost made the NFC Championship game. Alshon drops that pass.
To his hands, yeah.
Carson Wentz was injured to start that season. They actually had a good year if you consider it. The third year, they made the playoffs. Carson Wentz gets injured in the playoff game, and they lose because who was the backup quarterback that he tore his butt muscle, and he couldn't move? Josh McCown.
Yeah.
So Wentz is out.
He tore his butt muscle.
He couldn't do anything. So, like, all right, and then they come back and they have that awful season where Carson Wentz is seeing ghosts. They win 4 games. They fired him. You could have very easily made the case. He won a Super Bowl. They won a playoff game.
Recoil with him.
Carson got injured in a playoff game. You can't blame Doug for that.
Yeah.
But what they saw in that 4th year was, no, we're moving on and we're hiring somebody else.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have anybody in mind. It's not like they had John Gruden that was out there that wanted the job. They hired Nick Sirianni coming off of that.
And everybody went, who?
Right, and it took them a long time to do it, too.
Yeah. What? The thing about it is they are very proactive. They've always been. If you go back to Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor with Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepard, they've always been proactive.
Better be a year early than a year late.
You're damn right.
And that's the Eagles.
Yeah.
All right, the Seattle Seahawks, another Super Bowl for them. Aaron Schatz. Who's Aaron Schatz?
I Schatz last night.
I know. That's what I was thinking. That's what this list is.
I guess he's an ESPN writer.
Oh, he is? Okay.
At least the article was from him via ESPN.
Okay. Well, I knew I read it somewhere, but I didn't know.
Can we start to stop using the Roman numerals with Super Bowl? Because I don't know how to read them anymore. Just give me the real number.
I did the same thing this morning when I was looking.
Come on.
I was like, all right, I'm sorry. Like, I know Eagles are 52 when they won their first one.
Yeah.
But that's only because I know it's 52, not because I know how to. I don't read Roman numerals.
Yeah.
Patricia Caputo. All right, so the Eagles, he ranked Super Bowls 1 to 60. All right. First of all, where would you say the Seahawks? And I know you're a big NFL historian, so you probably want to put one of the Packers Super Bowls up early on that list. But where would you put the Seahawks? That Super Bowl that they won on Sunday. Where would they be ranked? 1 through 60.
God, in my experience, probably in the 40s.
No, much higher than that.
Really?
Much higher than
18.
Higher.
12.
Higher.
No way. Recency bias. No
Probably.
Way.
3.
Get the hell out of here. I mean, the Giants beating the Patriots not once but twice with the catch on the head is got to be in there for sure. Wide right with the Giants and Buffalo, Scott Norwood has got to be in there, right?
So, well, I mean,
you would think.
But I don't. I mean, so I'm going to read the criteria right now. All right, it
How
says
about Namath. I mean, geez.
No, but I think it's so. I believe it's like how good the team is. It's not about the drama of a missed field goal it's about the game,
the quality of the opponents.
So here's what he says. He says that the Seattle Seahawks defeated the New England Patriots, blah, 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 blah. Some of these teams were dominant from start to finish. Other teams slipped into the playoffs after a mediocre regular season. We've done our best to rank all 60 Super Bowl champions from worst to best, looking at both the regular season and the playoffs to find the most powerful team in NFL history.
Okay, so 1980 would not have been a great year then for the Eagles when they took on the first wild card team in the Raiders.
No, they would not be.
That would not be there with Plunkett and that whole team.
So number one on the list, and when I mentioned the Seattle Seahawks are number 3. So it's the regular season, the dominance in the Super Bowl, and then the dominance in the playoffs.
How can they put that at 3 with Darnold, the 2 quarterbacks in this game?
So they beat the Rams. It was a close game. They didn't turn the ball over all playoffs. I mean, I don't know. I didn't look at. I looked at the Seahawks team as like, yeah, they were dominant. I'm not surprised they won.
Yeah.
But so the Washington Redskins then 1991 are considered the best team.
Is that Mark Rippon?
That would have been Mark Rippon.
Mark Rippon in 91. Okay,
correct. And this guy's looking at a lot of advanced analytics. That they
nothing
look
like
at
advanced analytics when you're looking at 1974 football.
Number 2 is the '85 Bears.
Okay, over the New England Patriots.
I mean, they only lost one. They lost to the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football.
Yep.
It's the only game they dominated the league.
You're talking Jim McMahon, and you're talking about, the guys on the line there, and obviously Walter Payton.
Yep. Seahawks 3. Where would you put the Philadelphia Eagles team? Remember, last year they rolled through the season. Right now, it also wasn't
season,
but it also wasn't as successful. Like they were winning games, but they weren't blowing teams out. They were grinding through games. Remember, like A.J. Brown said, the problem with the team is the passing game after they almost lost to the Panthers.
Yeah.
So this, 2004 was a much more dominant regular season than, even though the Eagles won a lot of games, they had to grind out some of those games. Where would you put the Eagles?
I would put, so last year, is it just the Eagles?
The 2024 Eagles.
15.
40th.
Wow. That's disrespectful.
The Eagles started slow with a 2-2 record before their bye week. Then the defense turned things up. And then it talks about, they had the league's best defense, but the offense, I guess, wasn't.
How about the Kurt Warner Rams with Isaac Bruce?
And by the way, the 2017 Eagles are 41. So 40 and 41 back-to-back. 41, you can make the case because there was a lot of mercenaries, and Nick Foles won the game, and, we love him. So let me go from 20 down, all right? The 97 Broncos, 20th.
Yep. Terrell Davis.
Yep. 2019 Chiefs. 94 Niners.
Absolutely.
Which was Steve Young. If you remember, the Eagles beat the Niners 40-8.
Yeah.
And they wanted George Seifert fired, and that was the pivot point of their season, and they kicked ass after that. Steelers, 79. That's 17. The 99 Rams.
Okay, so that's Kurt Warner.
That's the greatest show on turf.
Yep.
That's Dick Vermeil.
Yep.
That was
that team was ridiculous.
Holy cow, man. Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt.
Yeah.
On that turf.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
It was a whole different game you were watching all of a sudden.
2002 Tampa Bay Bucks.
That's Trent Dilfer. Yeah, that's
come on. No, that's Brad Johnson.
Or Brad Johnson, Warren Sapp.
Beat the Eagles.
Yeah, Joe Jaravicious.
They'd
Keyshawn.
No, I can't.
No, I'm out.
I disagree. I don't think that
this list sucks.
66 Packers, who knows? 2013 Seahawks, Legion of Boom. 84 Niners. That's the first of the Bill Walsh, Joe Montana run, right?
No, I think it was 82 was the first.
82, yeah, because they beat the Bengals. They beat the Bengals. 98 Broncos. The 95 Cowboys are 10th. You got a Steelers team. The 2004 Patriots. Number 8.
See, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, did they obviously Brady, but they LeGarrette Blount. They didn't have Blount back then.
No.
Who's the receivers they had on that team?
Oh, that would have been like
Marvin. They had some good D players, but
no, that would have been the guy that also played. He ended up playing corner because they needed him at corner. He was 80-something. No, but they were winning they weren't winning because they had Randy Moss. They were winning because they had a great defense, and Tom Brady was becoming Tom Brady. 73 Dolphins, the 82 Cowboys, or excuse me, not 82, 92 Cowboys.
Jimmy Johnson.
96 Packers, that was the Reggie White. 89 Niners, I was expecting to see them. Yeah, like the 2025 Seattle Seahawks. You know what that is? That's to get people to click and talk about it.
Yeah, because it's recent.
Yeah, that's the hook.
What about none of those Giants teams with Phil Simms, huh?
Not high. Nope.
And they were. I mean, look at the defense with Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, but who was their best offensive player?
Banks. Joe Morris.
Joe Morris or O.J. Anderson.
Yeah.
Who was their best wide receiver? Mark Ingram?
Probably.
Phil Simms, Hostetler. I mean, really, they were winning.
Yeah.
That was a defensive team that also a much different
era
of football. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
For sure.
Hostetler from West Virginia University.
Is he West Virginia?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. What about the Indianapolis Colts team with Manning?
They use DVOA ratings that look at the efficiency on play-by-play basis according to the article. Yeah, they're using advanced analytics. But you can't just use advanced analytics.
No, I mean, to me, this is ridiculous.
It's got to be an eye test, too, Jason.
Yeah.
Got to have the eye test.
74 Dolphins, was that in there? Zonka.
I know you're a big Zonka guy.
Yeah, Larry Zonka.
Yeah, they're in there somewhere. All right, coming up. We'll wrap it up. We have something else here, a pretty interesting little list that we have. And also,
we'll just get to a couple and we'll save it for next week.
Yeah, for sure. And we have the YouTube chat recap. That's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, listen, if you're looking for hair, yeah, you're losing your hair, you're saying, what the hell happened? And you just kind of give up, right? Like, shaving your head these days is perfectly fine. People look good with shaved heads.
Is that right?
Right? Jason pulls off the shaved head look. Sean Brace pulls off the shaved head look. I didn't because I tried it. I was losing my hair. I shaved my head. I looked scary. Looked like I should have been in a neo-Nazi movie or something like that. And I would have gotten used to it, right? But I didn't want to. So that's when I went to my friends at Morgan Stern Medical. Their hair team, same team that did my hair restoration procedure many years ago, over a decade ago. They're the experts in the industry, the most experience and the most success when it comes to hair. And this is all stages of hair loss. This just isn't for the hair transplant, which I had. There's a lot of non-invasive treatments that you can get. I know Thomas Drayton from Fox 29. I saw on their Instagram page, on Morgan Stern Hair's Instagram page. He came in for one of the non-invasive treatments. So maybe you're just concerned about how much hair you're starting to lose, but you're okay with where your hairline is. That's why you go to Morgan Stern Hair, because you keep your existing hair. So regardless of where you are in your hair loss, women, by the way, hair restoration options for men and for women at every stage of hair loss. Like with me, I got the hair transplant. Results are amazing. You can see everything, including my before and after pictures, at morgansternhair.com. That's Morgan with an E, morgansternhair.com. Or if you want to call their office right now, you can speak to their hair team. The phone's been ringing over there. Getting good feedback. A lot of listeners are calling and are going in and getting stuff done. 610-831-HAIR. 610-831-HAIR or morgansternhair.com.
You never stop thinking.
So Jason sent me this. It was actually from
last week. I sent it. Right?
It was someone that it was someone tweeted this out, and it's just interesting. And the list starts with it said rules to teach your son.
Yeah, these are man rules.
Well, but you know what? Like Trish, these are also things that you should be teaching your daughters as well, because I have 3 of them.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see. Let me hear them.
All right. So never shake a man's hand sitting down.
So if somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I'm so and so," meet so and so. If I'm sitting and they're standing, I got to get up to shake.
Of course, even if you're not shaking hands.
Yeah, like when Bill
You
came in
stand up.
earlier, I got up. I stood up to shake his hand like a gentleman.
You stand up. You don't sit down.
Yeah.
Agreed. Don't enter a pool by the stairs.
You got to jump in.
I mean, I don't know.
You can't walk in the
I
stairs.
think it depends on the situation.
No, if you're a man, you can't just walk down the stairs. If you're old, like you're a geriatric, you go in gently. Other than that, if you're a man, you just jump in.
Can you go in, not the stairs, but you know how in shallow ends, like in the shallow end, you have
the beach walk.
Not the ladder, but you have the cement, just like it kind of fades in.
Yeah, it's beach entry. Yeah, you can do that. You can just walk in.
You can do that.
Yeah,
I jump in.
Yeah, I jump in too
because it's too cold I wouldn't want to wade into.
I
just want to go right in.
Yeah, I love the jump in. It shocks the body.
I agree. The man at the barbecue grill is still the closest thing to a king.
Yes.
I thought these were really going to be edgy. The first one tricked me.
Yeah, but he is. He's the man in control. But the Don never wears shorts.
Like I said, this is more like that one is kind of like a weird man one, but not all of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're having a barbecue, you have to man the grill.
Yeah.
The keg you can go over and you can pivot to the keg, but you have to be in charge. There's never a doubt.
College, it was the keg. Now, as an adult, it's the barbecue.
There should never be a doubt for any guest that they're not coming over and they're taking over grill responsibilities.
What about this one? When shaking hands, grip firmly and look them in the eye.
Of course.
Too many dead fish handshakes.
No, it should never.
I hate the dead fish.
No, and like I can't say that my dad taught me that, but that's something that you learn at an early age, that you make eye contact and you give a firm handshake.
You know who really believes in that one?
But
Adrian Peterson. You ever shake his hand?
No.
Former Minnesota Viking.
I was down at the Maxwell's the night that we were down there, though.
Yeah, and he came on with me and Mike, and he shook my hand, and I still haven't recovered. He broke every metatarsal in my hand.
Yeah,
I think he does it as a power move over you.
Greg Luzinski he actually like sprained my hand on a handshake one time.
Insane.
No, but so and also with the handshake, here's another one. I don't know if this is on this list, but having 3 daughters that eventually are going to be dating. I don't want to think about it. Like, yo, homie. You're not sitting in the car beeping the horn or texting her to come out. You are coming up to the door.
Yeah.
You are coming up to the door.
And you're answering the door like Michael Keaton in Mr. Mom with a chainsaw.
And you're coming
a shotgun.
You're coming in
But
and
you're
we're having a conversation and you better be shaking my hand.
Yeah. Got to be dignified.
All right? I want to see my former barber John told me his daughter started dating and the young man came in, shook his hand, said, "Very nice to meet you," made eye contact, firm handshake. And he was kind of like, I don't know if I trust this kid. He actually knew everything to do.
Yeah, he read a book about it, about proper etiquette on picking up your daughter.
My grandma used to make him change light bulbs in the house. You come in, shake her hand, change a light bulb. All right, he knows how to change a light bulb.
Really?
Jeez, if I don't know how to change a light bulb.
Apparently, that's the story I've been
Ain't
told.
going out with my daughter. This one, number 12, is very Harry. I could hear Harry saying this.
All right.
And I'll say it like Harry, if you need music on the beach, you are missing the point.
Yeah, I have no interest in music on the beach.
I like music on the beach, but I am also totally fine sitting and just listening to the waves.
I don't think I ever, because everybody has a phone, so you can play. You can bring a portable speaker if you want it.
Yeah.
I do have a boombox at home. Do you want me to bring the boombox in?
The old school boombox?
I have
it carried on your shoulder?
It takes like 16C batteries, which is why I can't take it anywhere. But yeah, I'm not a music on the beach guy.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Thank a veteran, then make it up to him. I do that all the time. I always thank him. If I see a guy in uniform, thank you for your service.
Yeah. Definitely have to be respectful. They put their life on the line, brother.
Yeah.
They sure do. All right, let's get to the YouTube chat recap. What do we got?
It's time for the YouTube chat recap.
How about filling us in? Let me tell you something else, man.
Watch us live on YouTube every single weekday.
I can't lie. Let me tell you something.
It's the Middays with Marks YouTube chat recap.
Hit me.
All right.
I wonder if Ray is just tired of women at this point. It's like a buffet. At a certain point, it's just too much food. MBD from the YouTube chat.
Yeah. So Ray is a cigarette smoker, and he doesn't get enough women.
How about that?
That's that is what people say on YouTube about Ray.
I think Ray would do fine with the ladies. He's a handsome fella.
He's a handsome guy.
He's fit. He's got a good yet quirky personality.
Yes.
So yeah, I think Ray would be a catch.
He's intelligent. He seems like he'd be a nice
set him
guy.
up? Can we do a blind date with him with a listener?
It was an idea, and he reluctantly agreed to it, but it's going to be summer.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's get him set up with somebody that's on the dating apps or swiping right or whatever the hell you guys do.
The idea is because Howard Stern had Dial-A-Date back in the day.
Yeah, lesbian Dial-A-Date.
DM dating with Ray.
I like it.
So whoever's interested slides into the DMs.
What about speed dating? Where are you on speed dating, Trish?
I don't think they do it anymore.
They don't do that anymore?
Yeah, no. You barely talk to people anymore. Come on, there's no such thing as speed
The
dating.
speed dating's what they do on the app, right? I mean, it's just kind of what it is. All right, what's next?
John, that hoodie looks like my dishcloth. Dawood Spriggs from the YouTube chat.
What do you think? Dishcloth?
It does a little bit look like a dishcloth. Your variety of style is unparalleled.
Thank you.
You're like a chameleon. And I come in here one day, he looks like he's on a cruise. The next day, he looks like he's working, in the D League as a ball boy.
Right.
And then the next day, you look like a gorilla in Panama fighting some kind of war.
That's the preferred look.
Yeah.
Is I look dangerous. Today, I don't look dangerous. Today, I look all right. I look wholesome.
Like a dishcloth.
I look like a dishcloth, which is not really versatile, but I'll take it.
This guy said, I don't know if Jason wears a shirt in the pool. I do wear a swim shirt because I burn easily.
Really?
I'm Irish. I wear this, and I keep the swim shirt on even indoors at the gym right now because I have the port in my chest, and I don't want people to see it and ask about it.
Well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
But do you wear just like a regular T-shirt?
No,
or
swim
is it
shirt.
Okay, it's a swim shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think am I a communist?
All right, what's next?
Marks is dressed like a clearance towel at a Home Goods. If Bayless from the YouTube chat.
Wow.
Yeah, you look like
Home Goods?
No, you look like you went through Kohl's, though.
TJ Maxx, maybe.
Yeah, it's very
Old
TJ
Navy
Maxx.
also.
Yeah, there's an Old Navy. Yeah, you definitely got an Old Navy vibe. I like Old Navy.
Old Navy? I wish this
Nothing
cost...
against Old Navy.
I wish this cost Old Navy money.
Yeah, that's the thing about Old Navy.
This was Pick Stitch.
Is that a website?
Or not Pick Stitch, Stitch Fix.
Do they just send you stuff?
So that, you get the stylist.
You get an outfit a month?
Well, you get a certain amount that you can keep what you want, and then you have to, or you can send it back. And these are one of the things. Actually, I sent it back for a bigger size.
Okay.
Because the medium
it does fit you nicely.
Yeah, the medium. Because like some shirts, mediums fit. Other ones they're too small.
Yeah.
So I had
some
to go
mediums
large
are
on that.
mediums.
Correct.
I buy a lot of my clothes from Costco, like this shirt. The zip up.
Costco, you get nice. You can get a nice flannel, nice
spider zip.
Why not?
Come on, what's the matter with you?
Yeah.
This is
Trish
my
likes
aunt's
it.
closet, actually.
There you
my
go.
outfit. But all right, next one.
Yep.
John's shirt looks like grandma got drunk during knitting. Andrew from the YouTube chat.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
And I can dry dishes right on my shirt.
Yes.
All right. Any more, Trish?
Marks is the only person who can get a haircut a few days ago, and absolutely no one can tell. Get a new barber, bro. Money Mar from the YouTube chat.
Oh, please.
What do you want him to do? Like grow it out and like get a feathered look or something? He's got his look.
Does it not look like?
Brand.
Does it not look like I had a recent freshie?
Yeah, it's a little tighter on the side.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cleaned up.
And I do not need to get a new barber. Razor Bar is where I go.
There you go.
Yes. Emily, my barber, fantastic up in Wayne. No, are you kidding me? I looked disheveled before I got the haircut. I had a daddy-daughter
dance.
Yeah, on Friday night, so I had to get the freshie. I mean, like if I get my haircut every 3 weeks, it's never going to look crazy, but it does to me. If I start having problems styling it, that it's too long, that's when I need to get my haircut. So yeah, I'm getting my haircut.
You want it low maintenance, but it looks nice.
Yeah.
Chat had it out for you today.
That's good. All right. Well,
what else is new?
No, but believe me, I had a shirt that people really would have talked about. So I guess we'll do that later this week.
Next time, I'll go a kind of a diverted style the next time I'm in.
Oh, you're going to go stylish?
I'll actually think about something to wear that I wouldn't normally wear.
By the way, 1 o'clock hour of the show brought to you by Morgenstern Hair Restoration. MorgensternHair.com. 3 locations, Lancaster, Bala, Kinwood. and Wayne,
All right.
Pennsylvania. Ricky Batalco is here. Every day they look in the mirror. They're like, come on, it's time to get out. But it's time to get out. See ya.
See you guys.